Better Hit the Mat podcast.
What time is it, guys?
4:14.
So I said,
and we go live at 4.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is Tom?
Leave it up to a doctor to keep you holding.
it's his birthday. Come on.
I know it's his birthday,
Cut him
and
some
I get
slack.
it. Like I get it. He's at the PC. He's performing jacked workouts. He hangs out with Dallas now. Dallas is technically one of his students.
Yep.
That guy that used to sit above me is now
Yeah.
What is he officially the head trainer at the PC?
Talk about getting above his fucking station.
Yeah,
Honestly.
for real.
He is, yeah.
When are we going to release that cancel material?
Give it a while. We'll see how late he is first.
Okay.
Anyway, let me do the proper intro because we're like, yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 18 of Better Hit the Mat podcast, allegedly a fitness podcast. Normally introduce everyone, but as you can see, somebody's slacking and they're not here yet. So this week, I've been carrying on. We had another video from Kenny, but it's a bit sinister. I'm expecting like a second one to sort of. I don't get the joke, you guys. I mean, should we play it and just see what people think?
It was weird, and I removed my Google history, but I say run it.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's check it out.
See what you think, guys.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by his toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Oh, yeah.
I mean, didn't make me laugh so much as made me really uncomfortable.
I mean, it's very Kenny, but it raises a lot of questions.
It really does. Oh, birthday boy's here finally. He's backstage. Right, I'm just
Finally.
to shame him. He's going to hear this. Just to shame him. I'm bringing him in full screen. Fuck it.
Dude, what's up, man? I'm glad you're here. Are you wearing baby oil? That's really strange. Well, anyway, come on in, man. We're about to teach an online class. I want you to come in. We'll check this out. You can come in and check out the studio. Help yourself to anything you need.
Okay. What did you do to him?
Would we be concerned?
Where is he, Kenny?
I'm sending the
What have you
basket
done with
down
him?
with the lotion. He's gonna get the hose again. I'm telling you what.
We're adults. I'm just saying.
Oh, geez, that was fun.
Oh, that was hilarious.
So we
good.
couldn't expect Tom to be
Put
here
together
on
so
his
well.
birthday. So we gave him the day off, and Kenny is very glad, very, very kindly stepped in to fill very big shoes.
Yes, thank you, Kenny.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it
Welcome,
takes.
sir.
I'm doing my best.
Yes, amazing work. Tom and his brother shot Tom's video. Kenny shot his, and they coordinated and made it all work out. And that was a lot of effort put in for a 4-minute joke. Hopefully, it lands.
I hope so, because I set my beard on fire, actually.
Oh,
when I
boy.
was reaching down to reposition the candles on the floor, the candles on the toilet lid caught my beard. And I'm swatting at
Oh,
it,
my
and I had
God.
baby oil. That baby oil gets everywhere. It's on my pants. And yeah, I hope everybody
The
got a
wife
good
had
laugh.
so many questions.
Oh yeah, because she called me right after I finished, and she's like, "What are you doing? What's that sound?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm blowing out candles and the baby oil." And she's like, what is going on?"
It's for
Like,
What's that
DDP
smell?
yoga, babe.
Burnt hair, baby oil. What's going on? You have the door locked. What's going on?
I just want to say, finally, there's a
Serious
use for
explain.
jack straps that I support. So,
Yeah, I was going to say
it's in order.
We as a podcast are not advocating kidnap, torture, misuse of jack straps. But if we have inadvertently given something very special to the BDSM community, you're welcome.
Well put.
So even though Tom's not here, let's hit real quick. How awesome. You guys have probably seen all the photos floating around, and even the time-lapse videos of him at the PC. He flew down there or drove down there. Who the hell knows how he got there? Probably teleported. He's rich. And and he's leading full-on jacked workouts on the PC stage. That's
It's all that life coaching money, Trav.
Yeah.
no kidding.
There you
Life
go. There you
coach.
go. Need
Well,
to
I mean,
get into that.
talk about mind-blowing stuff, right? Like, you think
Yeah.
you're a nervous wreck teaching a live workout on the PC stage. How about teaching a live workout on the PC stage where
Did you see
Dallas
his?
is right behind you?
Did you see his still shot of photo where they were just getting started? He was already in
He's
the green.
140s or whatever.
I said mine would have been 150. Mine would have been 150.
Everybody's in the 80s, and Tom
Yeah.
has already got sweat stains going, and he's
Oh, yeah.
already green, like he's good to go.
But like
I mean,
you said, as an instructor,
he's the only person that's to modify down on the breathing section.
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
workout.
right? Exactly. He's actually laying down. Yeah, and as an instructor, you do tend to get your heart rate a little higher. But yeah, I could only imagine having Dallas right behind you, like you said. Woof.
Getting hella
And-
amped.
Once you hit
Yeah.
that flow, though, you do hit that flow. I mean, I have had the dubious pleasure of teaching with Dallas in front of me. And the only reason my heart rate didn't go to 190 and I passed out on stage is because he was in the kitchen bit to the side of the PC and I couldn't see him. It was only afterwards, like, Hayden goes, yeah, Dallas was watching. I was like, oh, fuck.
And Travis,
Well, you know where I know
had it
Tom
right.
was going to kill it was he's not a weekend warrior with this. He has put the work in, especially since COVID, and even before COVID. I mean, he has put the work in, so he's definitely is harvesting and honing his craft for sure.
And yeah, he's been on Project Mayhem running DDP jacked workouts. I think they're doing them twice a week, where it is jacked focused. And between that and the daily jacked workouts that he was documenting for that 14-week transformation, on top of his BFR training or certification, because that was done. You may or may not realize, but that was done outside of the DDPY program. That was done through Rock Cuffs and through the University of Tennessee. I mean, that's so he definitely took that. He's like Dallas continuously talks about taking things to the next level. That's Tom to a T. Pun intended, I guess. But and man, so damn proud of him. It's just super cool to see him up there. Yeah. And he said he represented Hit the Mat that they all knew about us, whether that's good or bad.
That scared me more than pleased me, I have to say.
Yeah. So
maybe the scary part is they don't want to reach out; they just know about us.
But like, look, let's just put it couch it in these terms. They could reach out, but let's just face it. The likelihood is that they reach out and it's a cease and desist. So let's just take no news as good news at this point. So,
That works for me.
anyway, we should let Kenny, people only know you from these insane costume videos. Like, introduce yourself, sir. Tell us a bit about you. I know we've talked about you on other shows, but other people might not have seen that episode and so on. So.
Well, I started doing DDPY actually right around the same time that Travis did in 2018, Christmas.
2018. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I'm a recovering alcoholic. I've been sober for about 4.5 years, and I was trying to drop a little bit of weight. I gained a lot of weight in recovery, and I was listening to Joe Rogan and heard about DDPY on the Joe Rogan podcast, and Jake the Snake was on. And Jake the Snake, he's in recovery, and he speaks my language, so he's talking about
F-bombs
things in recovery. Yeah, definitely a lot of F-bombs, and then talks about DDPY, and I'm like, well, I better check that out. And so I downloaded the app, and I took my pictures and started doing it, and boy, nothing physically has been life-changing like DDPY for me. And it's very complementary to a program of recovery for somebody like me who's recovering from addiction, in my case, alcohol. And just joined the herd and got in with the Facebook group. And I mean, really, what a fantastic group of people to get involved with. And
Well, Kenny, also before we ever even met, I saw your photo, your transformation photo that you posted. And my God, that day one or before you started photo, not only were you, it looked like you were on the edge, man. You needed a hug that day for sure. And then
that was
the transformation photo, you could definitely tell. And then your transformation photo, man, you could see it in your eyes, you could see it in your smile. I mean, definitely your transformation, but your eyes and your smile tell so much when these transformation photos come through.
Actually, most people don't realize that video that you made, or that time lapse, you posted that on Reddit, and I think that hit. Did that hit number 1 on Reddit?
It was no.
I know it was front page.
I have had a post hit number 1, but it was definitely front page. And
yeah, it was because I saw it on Reddit before I ever saw it on DDP, like through DDP Yoga, the group, and or by DDP Yoga posting that picture, because I think you had your original, awful rock bottom photo, and then I think your final photo, I think you were actually wearing a 100K Club shirt. And so that's kind of how that started to push through, and it's always really cool to see something happen on Reddit, which for the most part Reddit's fairly anonymous. I think your name actually is your username on Reddit, so it's not as anonymous as some.
So quick.
Yeah, but so I always think it's amazing when people accidentally dox themselves, but if your name's your name, whatever.
Hey, me too. I mean, I'm in that boomer status. I'm like, happy Travis. That's my username.
69 Travis. So it's just really cool to see.
Foolish on the internet.
Yeah, to see it come from one and then go to the other, and then obviously you end up hitting it big. I think Dallas ended up sharing your photo anytime you're rocking that stuff, but most people don't even realize the biggest thing with the Arthur video is that first got big traction through Reddit as well. That's where all those huge orders started coming through. Is it wasn't Arthur's video being shared on Facebook. It hit huge on I think multiple subreddits. I think it was number 1 on Whoa Dude and Transformation and Lose It. Arthur's video was, and they all just skyrocketed. And those things from a viral marketing campaign, you know how many subs you probably sold that day by hitting Reddit? That's crazy.
Oh yeah,
how that happens.
Sure.
That is all literally Greek to me.
Pictures.
I mean, you get residuals from that, right? You get residuals, right?
Subs.
I actually have
subscriptions.
Subscriptions.
Small amount of money for my pictures, but it's it was every time I get a sobriety coin, 24 hours, 30 days, 90 days, 1 year, 2 year. I take a picture in the bathroom because I just, I started doing that. I took my picture when I first got my coin just so I would remember how I looked. And then when I was 30 days sober, I took another picture just so I could look at them side by side. And then that became a habit. But the change was so drastic that I posted it on Reddit after my first year. And I had no idea it was going to go crazy like that. I mean, I just wanted it to be uplifting for other people in recovery. So
No, I think your story echoes with so many people in the community. Not just the transformation aspect as far as the physiological transformation, whether it's weight or muscle development, but really the sobriety aspect. Because I mean, we see plenty of people. I believe there's even a DDP yoga for people in recovery group. Correct?
Yes.
I just joined it actually recently.
Nice. A little late to the show.
Yeah, it is a little late. I mean, and everybody's at a different stage with recovery, and everybody, tackles recovery differently. And so, it's a kind of a controversial subject amongst people who are trying to be in recovery because not everybody agrees, and that's fine. And I usually stay away from groups like that just because my brand of recovery isn't the same as other people's, and that's fine. If it works for people, hey, more power to them. So
yeah.
And if someone just gets into that group and you're already there and you've got a track record, you can say, hey, this works. For me, it's just got me to here. That's only going to help spur some.
Well, I don't
even
start conversations like that. I just tell them what I did, and I hope it's helpful. That's the best I can do.
If somebody hears anything, hopefully what they hear is, hey, this is what I did for me. Like what you said. Yeah. Instead of me telling you, hey, this is what you need to do, man. But if you take someone else's story and someone else's, and then take and see if it can apply it to you, and then maybe help, then that's helpful. But yeah, definitely 100%.
Yeah, and if anybody is interested, then my method was 12-step, and it worked for me. I go to lots of meetings, and I sponsor people, and I have a sponsor, and what you see in those pictures is real. I didn't just comb my hair and drop a couple of pounds. The smile, I mean, that's the spiritual change was the real change. And if people want that, then now they know what I did. So
nice.
Absolutely, man. So what do you think, guys? Should we bring on this week's guest?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's have him.
All right. Travis, you want to take the honors since you know this guy personally?
Yeah. All right, guys. You might have seen this week's guest in Eastbound and Down, Harold and Kumar, Into the Storm, Last Comic Standing, or in a comedy club near you. He is the host of Country-ish podcast. He's a Dodge HEMI enthusiast.
That thing got a HEMI?
And is now a DDPY enthusiast. Please give it up for my friend and former best comedian of the world, Jon Reep.
Woo! Cheers!
What
We
do
get
you
diamond
mean?
Cheers!
Cheers!
What do you
Cheers,
mean
bang, bang, cheers!
What do you mean former?
Former, you literally have a clip on your website that says, yeah, I won Last Comic Standing. You know what that means? That means I was the best comedian in the world, for 1 year.
1 year. That's right.
That would make you a former.
That's true. I forgot I said that. That's true.
Hey,
Yeah.
Cheers, John.
Cheers to you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Got
Yeah.
beer here.
He says, beer. I love it.
Yeah. I don't
It's,
drink beer, so I made an seltzer.
Made by a ginger, not a ginger beer.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
but I think you need to talk to your distribution company because the guys who are giving it out here in the UK have dropped the ball some. The label's just not as good, and I think it's spelt wrong. So
that works. It's just, we pronounce things differently down over here across the pond. It's all the same. It's all cheap beer. I like that you guys did that. That's very flattering. Thank you.
Bartender says, last call. You can't say Heineken after 15 Heinekens. You can always say Bud. No matter how drunk you are. That's why I'm coming out with my own beer. It's going to be huge. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to name it, Last call. What can I get you?
I am not having beer. I'm having, this is diet caffeine-free Sundrop with a little bit of Tito's.
There you go.
Yeah.
Shake it, not stirred, or
Yeah,
I've got
just
the
a little
softies
bit.
as well. So cheers!
So thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it. So Travis is the one that got me hooked on this DDPY stuff.
Yeah, he's pretty much the reason we're all here. We were all gonna give up, and then he slid into our DMs, and he's like, "Hey, let me teach you how to do this." I'm like, "I've been doing it for 3 years." He's like, "But I'll teach you how to do it."
We don't call him Saint Shamrock for nothing.
That's right. That's right. Actually, I had to show up in the bushes at Ryan's house a little bit.
It's true. So I don't have bushes anymore. I cut them out. I got tired of people hiding in them.
John, when you guys did that workout where you were eating the beans, I was like peeking through my hands. I was so worried somebody was going to shit their pants.
Yeah. I was hoping someone would shit their pants.
That would have been good.
That's just good pod. Yeah. The guy, one of my interns, Isaiah, he was really eating the beans a lot. Like, I only had a couple of bites. Isaiah, because he's a sport, like, he took the thing and went back in the back, and I didn't know this because he was behind me. I didn't find out till later that he was eating the beans a lot during the session, and he blasted one out.
He sure did.
I don't think there was any solid matter. I think it was just gas.
Oh, man.
I didn't check. Yeah, but it was a good one.
Somebody kicked a wall when they went into three-legged dog.
Isaiah
yeah.
bumped the wall.
Yeah, that neat. And then when we did that, that was the first time I had done DDPY, that podcast you're talking about. And I went back and looked at it, and I am way different now than when we did it then, because I don't turn purple anymore.
Exactly.
There was a minute I was kind of goofing on
It was the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had the top onesie half shirt on. That was purple. And then my skin, maybe I'm like part iguana, because I started turning into my surroundings, and I was turning purple. And I think that's because I had probably high blood pressure, cholesterol, like all this thing. But I've gone through phases where I'm healthy and I'm unhealthy. And that you caught me at one of my unhealthy phases, which was great, because I had just had shoulder surgery a while back. I had my shoulder. I had a separated shoulder a long time ago, and it was starting to give me problems. And I had it looked at, and they said, "Yeah, your shoulder wasn't separated back then. You actually broke it, and you grew a bone spur, and that's like digging into other stuff." And so they had to go in there and fix a bunch of crap. And so I was out physically for a couple months, and then they give you pain meds, and that's always fun. That makes you want to eat more and do nothing. So
exactly.
I turned into a couch potato. But then as I was starting to get out of it and getting healthy again, that's when I took Travis up on this offer. But yeah, it's and I used to say I had the high fecta, which is three things that are too high. It's high triglycerides, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure. And I had all that. And they said, "Oh, it's probably because you're eating too much cheese." I'm like, "Well, I do that, but I'm sure there's more to it."
Yeah, the fact it's on bread normally.
And so I'm like, Travis hit me up. I said, "I'll try it." And then if it wasn't for Travis, I wouldn't be this far along, because he kind of keeps my feet to the fire. And I hate to admit that I do need that. I need someone else to motivate me. And that's because I have no self-discipline. But it's nice to have Travis go like, "Come on, dude, it's been a couple days. What are you doing?"
Oh, you must be really pissing him off if he says, "Come on, dude." That's how you know you're stacked.
Yeah, in my head, he's screaming at me.
Right.
But no, it's gentle reminders.
Right.
Yeah.
Always. It's Saint Shamrock for a reason.
Yeah. So was it that Trav DM'd you and sort of offered to help, and then you thought, look into it, then you got Dallas on your show? Is that the way around it went?
I got Dallas on. So I got these interns who are huge wrestling fans, and I liked it when I was a kid. I really don't follow a lot of it now. In the last 20 years, honestly. But
Stone Cold's still a thing, right?
Yeah.
This is where Boz comes in with this wrestling sucks.
And points the wrong way every week. It's that way.
Well, I couldn't tell you like who the champion is, or I don't watch it. I don't know. I don't care. But when I was a kid, I liked it. Like Ric Flair, like those old school days, But anyway, these interns, I mean, they love it, and so I tell them, I give them assignments. I go find me some cool guests that would be in the country-ish realm, what would that be? And they strictly go for wrestling dudes. And so Diamond Dallas Page was one of the guys they hit up, and he happens to like comedians because he's also gotten Gabriel, comedian Gabriel, yeah.
Right.
And so he also knew me. I was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was on Joe Rogan's podcast. And I think he just saw that I'm a podcast guy in that network, and was like, "Oh, sure, I'd love to do that."
He'll do every podcast but ours, honestly.
Well, just say you've been on Rogan once or twice, and just
there you go.
What you got to do is Photoshop you into a Rogan interview, and then. Yeah,
there you go.
We'll deep fake it. it. That'll do it.
We'll deep flake our clout. There you go.
Deep
flake.
Deep
flake.
That's every breakfast I eat deep flakes. Yeah. It's a good healthy breakfast.
Carbs are
genius. Love it.
It's live. Kiss my ass.
That's a new drop.
But no, it was great. So that's how we got Diamond Dallas Page to be on the show. And then I was already talking to Travis, though. Like, I was talking to Travis. So I had Diamond on before Travis knew that Diamond was going to be on. And then the following week, we had Travis on to give me the actual live tutorial, with all the guys in studio. So it was Diamond first, although I talked to Travis first. And then if you watch the show, it's Diamond, then Travis.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Some people think he is Dallas, so we had that misconception early on in our early episodes.
So when Travis came on and led your workout, did you kind of go in thinking not going to be that big of a deal? Because I know obviously you all approached it from a point of humor with the clothing, the beans, everything else. But walking away from that, were you like? I know that you've stuck with it. I don't know if any of the other guys have stuck with it or had tried it out, but what was your thought walking away from that first one?
Well, because because on air, I told Travis and Diamond Dallas Page that I would keep at it. And had I not said that in front of everyone, I may have stopped. I'm just really trying not to be a hypocritical liar. So had I said it like one-on-one, I'd be done. But I said it in front of an audience. And now if I quit, they're gonna be like, I knew he'd quit. So I got to keep going. But
plus now you've also got to do it on a boat, haven't you? And
so that's another thing. Now I'm gonna do it on a boat.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. And I kind of weaseled my way into that, just like I weaseled my way into the DMs. John and I, we were kind of recently getting started, and
I didn't know if he actually knew you were going to be teaching out. That you're just going to show up and lead classes up. Good to know that it's officially been acknowledged.
He doesn't know yet.
I don't own the boat. Lots of people could do yoga on there, and I wouldn't know it.
I'm surprised you don't own the boat, because when you Google Jon Reep, the first suggestion is, how much is Jon Reep worth? Just so you know.
Yeah, it's incorrect. I've been there. I see that too. It's way less than that. Yeah,
you Google it. You Google and say, "Hey, Google, send me some of that."
I'm a 48-year-old divorced man who lives with his mother.
Hey, you take care of your mom, right?
Right, you're doing that because you're a good man. Let's be honest about that.
That's right,
John. You're doing a good thing.
I just love my mom. It's
Do you refer to her as your roommate?
But she's my roommate. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. That's all it is.
We get along pretty good. I came back here about 3 years ago because Dad had a stroke, and then so my mom hadn't been by herself. He's in a skilled nursing facility, paralyzed on his left side. I mean, he would benefit from the bed DDPY workouts, which would be nice to do if I could get in there. But they're just now starting to let people back into nursing homes. But yeah, I mean, he could benefit from this. I don't think he'll ever get it back on that one side. I mean, he suffered a lot of brain damage. But that's the main reason I came back to Hickory from Los Angeles. But yeah, he did weasel his way onto the boat. Let's get back to that point.
Yeah, so John and I started.
This guy.
We started doing our classes, and we were jibbing about the cruise. We'll talk about the cruise later. But
That would be Reep's Peeps. Is that
Reep's Peeps Cruise.
There you
Reep's
go.
Peeps Cruise, number 2, right?
Yeah,
Number
this is the second one. Yeah, if it happens.
Yeah, if it happens.
When it
So
happens.
listen how this happened. John and I are sitting there working, having class, and I go, John, if he's liking the DDP yoga, we're doing it, and I say, hey, do you have a wellness coach on the cruise? And he's like, no,
Is that
I
like
don't
a
think
life
it's-
coach?
Yep. I got a little pretentious there. Yeah, I'll admit it. But I said, he said, no, I don't believe we do. And I was like, do you want one? I think I got a resume right here.
I gotta say, Travis also said, I bet you I could get more people to book onto your cruise if you let them know that I am going to be teaching DDPY fitness every day. I'm like, okay. So let's see what you're
Hey,
saying.
Boz, you got any of that Shamrock Kool-Aid?
Yeah, somewhere.
Okay. I don't know if you know this, John, but Travis is actually a cult leader, hidden under the guise of a wellness fitness program known as Shamrock Fitness.
Oh,
There you
no.
go. Why the fitness has an asterisk next to it on all the shirts. Yes, but you're not wrong.
It might be too late for me to pull out.
Of all the people
Yeah.
that you could have picked to bring on and to have people follow him, Travis is probably your guy. I would
We're never
have
coming back from
Kitty
that.
would have come with me. That would have been it.
Well, I imagine that a wellness coach on the Reep cruise would be like a guy named Chuck that makes Bloody Marys every morning. This is our wellness guy. He gets it straightened out every morning. That's what I would have as wellness, on a cruise.
The hair of the dog.
You see, I fucking hate boats, so for me, the idea of a wellness person on a boat is just the guy who brings me the sick bag first thing in the morning. The idea of working out and getting my heart rate up whilst moving on a boat. I made a horrendous mistake once. I went on a cruise to Spain, which is like a 2 days, basically a truck ferry. And they dress it up like a cruise. I got on the boat. The first hour, I go down into the bow of the ship, and there's a gym. What do I decide to do? Exercise number 1. Get on the rowing machine. So the rowing machine is bow to stern, and the ship's going this way, and I'm going this way. I was sick for a day.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
Oh, boy.
That might be kind of fun, though, if there was a window, like in the front, and you feel like you're the one who's
Yeah,
moving
you're the one moving the boat.
Like it's because
Exactly.
of me. Yeah.
That would have been amazing.
Exactly.
But no, I hear you. So he said, I bet I can get more people to sign up, and he did. I don't know how many more people you. Do you know what your number is right now?
We're at 8 cabins right now.
Look at that. That's 8 more than I would have had
right.
without Travis. So it's
Just
already
trying to help
victory.
out.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great. But to get to the point, like I really do. When I do it, I'm just trying to be more flexible. My whole goal was like I want to be able to tie my shoes without grunting all the time. Like
I've been there.
And so
Yeah.
and I know that I'm probably never going to get to the level that there a lot of these real flexible yogi guru types are, but I do already feel improvement. Just my upper chest, like doing the downward dog and the push-ups and the 3-second push-ups. That's the part I wasn't expecting, but I also love because I am getting the strength from that. So I like it. I like doing it. My problem is scheduling it with traveling all the time and being exhausted when I get somewhere and I'm already tired. And the last thing I want to do is work out. And then just the schedule part of it, but we're making it work somehow.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You're putting it in. I
Really
mean, you're
cool to see.
hitting at least 4 times a week, at least.
See, that's impressive. I mean, honestly.
That's great.
Yep.
And that's all
And
you
that-
need.
And the nice thing about the program is you can do it in a hotel room, or you can do it, like I've done them in parks, I've done them in gymnasiums, I've done it in the airport waiting to pick somebody up. You can
done it in
make
men's
it work
bathrooms?
as long as
What?
you just gotta have a little, no shame. And I don't think any of us here have no shame.
Right.
So, but it's cool. It's cool to see you get like more physical again because you were a former athlete, right?
Up at high school, I played football in high school.
And then, but you also played for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I've seen that video.
Yes. Well, I was a dance person. Yeah, I wasn't.
Oh.
I was I used to break dance when I was in the 7th grade. I was a break dancer. Me and my brother formed a troupe called the Breakin' Brothers. and that we beat the Cosmic Force. That was a big troop here in Hickory. Anyway, I know how to break dance. And then so I went to a Panthers game. They invited me onto the field, they being the mascot. The mascot waved me out.
Subpar.
Yes. Which, by the way, I'm doing a gig. I'm doing a gig in South Carolina, Walhalla, which is Clemson. And Subpar, the actual guy that was in the costume, he started doing stand-up a couple of years ago.
Really?
Yeah. And he's going to be the MC at the show. And his name's Tommy Donovan. He's a good guy. I mean, he didn't know. It was his first time as a mascot for the Panthers, and he didn't know NFL rules. So I got kicked out because he didn't know he didn't have the authority to invite me onto the field.
Does he have the authority to invite you to this gig that you're going to, or is this
I invited
you up
him.
for failure?
You know what would be hilarious, John? If he was up on stage for a minute and then you had security come and lift him up and take him off the stage.
That's what I got to do. I got to figure out a way to get him back. But you know what's funny? Like, he's done well. Like, he's a real estate guy. Like, he's done really well in the real estate market. And so when he knew that I was coming, he said, "Hey, if you need a place to stay, I got this house on the lake, and you can just stay there." And I'm like, I looked it up. I'm like, "Oh, hell yeah." That's the least that you owe me. You know what I mean? For getting me kicked out.
John, he's invited you once before. Just saying.
Dude, are you
He's
sure?
invited you once before.
What if it's not his house?
Just saying, John.
Yeah, and it's actually a double wide on the riffer.
Right. What if I didn't even think of this. He could be setting me up again. This dude just likes to mess with me. Yeah.
You're going to be in the closet with Tom, locked up, tied up with the jack strap.
And he's going to show up and do the show for you.
Well, that'd be great. You guys should come to Walhalla April 3rd. See what happens.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I just might do it.
Or maybe you should get a mascot costume and just flip the table the other way.
He was really good. He was a mascot for the Gamecocks before, so he went from a cock to a panther.
Cat.
Right. Yeah.
It's a family-friendly show here, guys. Let's keep it clean.
Yeah.
Just talking about a
My
gamecock.
daughter's back here playing Minecraft, so I mean, it's a family affair. So
We have families.
exactly.
Yeah. That's I'm proud to be a part of it, and I'm glad that Travis is keeping me into it and keeping it going. And I got the Smitty. I did his Smitty's run. I got my medal in here somewhere.
Yes.
And my brother stole my shirt, by the way. My brother loves your shirt that you got me.
It's a good design.
I'll send you. I have an extra one, John. I'll send you another one.
Ryan
Whoever
designed the
designed that.
shirt, by the way. Yes.
Who designed it?
Ryan might.
That's
have
my
designed
logo.
Some asshole.
The whole Shamrock thing is me. That's this guy.
It looks-
That's
well,
how
that's
Travis and I actually became friends.
Puppet Master.
He was posting all these really shitty Shamrock things, and it was clip art. And I said, "Dude, that's shit." And he goes, "Well, what would you do different?" And I sketched out a Shamrock made out of diamonds. He goes, "What do I have to pay you for that?" And that's kind of basically how we
That
started.
is a very, very clever design because he took the diamonds and made that's really clever.
Oh yeah. It's very clever. And you weren't that crass about it. Let's be honest. I remember this very distinctly. You sent me a message. You said, "Hey man, have you thought about doing anything else with your logo?" And I was like, I was talking about me not knowing anything. I was like, "Yeah, it's a little unlevel. I need to do this." And he's like, let me send you something. And dude, like instantly he sent it back. I was like, I want it.
Yeah.
I need it. I was probably one of Ryan's easiest clients. He sends it over and I'm like, sold.
Who did the artwork for Diamond Dallas Page's that documentary at the end where he's under that bridge and there's that?
That graffiti artist.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's that, Ryan?
He's not part of the community. I don't know. It's somebody Nathan Mowry hired, the guy who directed it. He's done some other stuff for Nathan Mowry, the director.
I wonder if you could do a spin-off of that, like it's that same kind of look with the diamonds, but it's a shamrock. Yours is just black and yellow. Well, but I wonder if you could do it like a diamond color with all the blues and and different stuff.
Well, there will
get on that.
I'm on it. We're right now. We're in the middle of making a
be
Shamrock
cheap.
on the Sea shirt for the cruise.
That's right. Because what
can't
I'm
wait to
doing,
see
John,
that.
is all the Shamrock folks that come on get a Shamrock T-shirt.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah,
I gotta send you one of my shirts. Have you seen my shirt?
I've
one
seen
for
it.
the cruise? Yeah. It's got my face, so it looks like it's supposed to look like it's from the '80s, like a Miami Vice type look. And it's the picture of the boat, and on the bow of it, it's just my stupid face like this, and that little hat on. It's ridiculous. I look like a marshmallow peep is the whole boat. Yeah,
That's good.
we started with that.
I
So
love
how
the
many people
masks
are you guys
did.
expecting on the cruise?
Huh?
How many people are you expecting on the cruise?
Well, it's a Royal Caribbean boat, so what we're selling is just a package, right? So what we've sold so far, we've probably got like maybe a little over 100 people.
That's awesome.
But that's without them during COVID and then not
Yeah.
knowing if this is going to happen. Are they going to have to get a shot? We
Yeah.
still don't know what's going on. There's not been one boat this year that has set sail from America. So that's why I kept saying maybe, but I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. The problem is it going to be mandatory for you to have a vaccine? And if that's the case, then I know some people are going to just back out because that's just how people are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully with the vaccines kind of rolling out with like it started with the blanket rollout. Now they're kind of releasing shots to everybody and willing to get it. We're gonna see a lot more opening up because I mean I'd read that you guys like you had a bout with COVID last year, right?
Yeah, I had COVID in July. It was down for 10 days. Like I had really bad high fever, really bad muscle aches, bad headache. And that lasted for about 3 days. And then for the next 7 to, maybe 2 weeks, I just was lethargic, no energy, taste and smell gone. Taste is really just now coming back for the last couple of weeks. Like I can still, it's come back, but like it's gradually. And this is what sucks. Coffee. I don't enjoy coffee like I used to. I don't know why. It's different. I still drink it out of habit, but I don't like savor it. Like I used to love it, and now I'm just like that's part of my morning routine, and I just do it.
Well, if that smell's not there, you're probably just drinking hot water. It's like
right. I could
not refreshing.
John, has that affected your diet, the way you eat, by not having smell and taste? I mean, like, do you just eat whatever, or do you eat comfort food at all? Like.
Yeah, in the beginning,
I just eat celery or whatever if I didn't taste it. Shoot,
that's what I thought. I'm like, well, why not be the healthiest person ever if you can't enjoy your food?
Right.
Yeah.
But I did have that thought process for a couple of days, and then you smell it, and you're like, ooh, now I know what that tastes like because I've had it before. I think it might be
memory.
Beneficial if you've never taste. It's like taking the red pill versus the blue pill.
Yeah.
In the Matrix.
I thought you were going to say. I just really like the texture of pizza in my mouth.
It's the best feel.
Yes, I love the mashed potatoes. I like biting into it and swishing it around with the butter. I did try to. I mean, my diet. That's going to be the worst part for me. Like the exercise part, I could get that back pretty quick. It's the diet part that's going to be hard for me because, and I love my dear sweet mother, but a mother can never get rid of that urge to feed her son, no matter
6
what.
times a day. Oh yes,
all the time. It's never enough, and there's stuff everywhere.
The feeling.
Yeah, and then a country bomb on top of that. It's going to be sticking to the ribs type stuff.
Where is everybody, by the way? I know Travis. I know where you are.
I am in Osceola, Indiana, which is basically I'm about 3 miles from the campus in Notre Dame University, or University of Notre Dame. So
I have been there. I feel like I could be the mascot.
Yeah, you're pretty close. You used to live in Grand Rapids. I actually saw you at Dr. Grin's in Grand Rapids.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Dr.
back in
Grin's in the big old
In
building.
the Bob. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. 4th floor.
You know a guy died in there?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
I've seen a lot. They used to bring a
During
lot
your
of the,
gig.
The yeah.
It was me.
Yep.
I died.
He took kill to the next
On
level.
stage.
He killed tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw you and then Alonzo as well.
Okay. Yeah,
And
yeah.
it was fun. Yeah, the good a lot of good shows there. Like we used to have a pretty good comedy club here called the Funny Bone, but it shut down. So
Yes. There's a Funny Bone. That's a
yeah.
big chain.
yep.
Funny Bone, where again?
It would have been in Mishawaka, part of Scottsdale.
okay.
So part of the
Okay.
Hunter Center. Well, the Funny Bone shut down, like as
Yeah.
the chain itself. But then they moved locations and kind of created the Funny Bone. They kept the name, but different branding and everything else. But then that whole scene shut down. Now we have something called like the Drop or something.
Gotcha.
It's just a small little club.
Yeah, there are Funny Bones and improv comedy clubs all over the country.
Right.
So it's like a national brand, and they come and go, depending on the market. So that's probably what happened there. But the Dr. Grins, apparently, so two things happened weird there for me. The comedy club is on the 3rd floor, I think.
Mhm.
And there's what, 4 levels or
Correct.
3 levels?
4th floor. Yes, it's bar, comedy club, bar.
Yeah.
So.
And so the stage, okay, right behind the stage it's just all windows. So you can see what's happening in the city behind you, the skyline. You see, if it's dark, sometimes they have curtains and they'll put the curtains so it's not distracting. But what I think I was there, they were celebrating something. It could have been the 4th of July, but there were fireworks. Like I want to say about 30 minutes into my set, you just hear, and everyone's like, I go, yeah, let's just take a time out. And I opened the curtains and I just sat down and we just watched fireworks together. Half of my act was me watching fireworks with them.
Good thing, because you only had 10 minutes of material that night, right?
That was it. Yeah. Yeah, the fireworks
club
went on
owner
for
was
hours.
pissed.
Did you do a
Well,
commentary?
you can't beat fireworks. I can't talk over fireworks. You can't
No,
make them
not at all.
turn it off. It's like, guys, turn it off. There's a comedian who's trying to talk.
Exactly.
So I just had to, can't beat them, join them type of thing. And then I heard, maybe it was like a week after I was there, or sometime close to when I was there, someone fell from like the 4th level
Whoa.
and just went, and
All
just
the way through.
like you can just hanging out at a bar and just see a body go like that.
Damn.
The guy died.
It's like that scene from Wreck. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the kind of drinking I used to do, man.
Wow, that's dangerous.
Yeah,
But,
did you see? Have you seen on Netflix? Nate Bargatze? I don't know how to say his last name. The comedian. They just had a new special go up, and it's an outdoor one at Universal Studios. And there's like 4 instances in his live special where helicopters are just flying overhead, and he has to like stop his set, and he's just like, "Damn it, another helicopter!"
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's a
I mean,
mistake.
that's the worst heckle I've ever heard of. That's awful.
yeah. You can't fight that guy. He's in a helicopter.
Yeah.
That's how a millionaire heckles you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's Bill Burr
Wouldn't
trying
it
to
be funny
break up
if you
your
like
set.
zoomed in, right? And it's just like it's got one of them streaming things behind it. It just says Nate Bargatze sucks. Just a long ad.
Next one. Boo.
Boo. Yeah, comedy and outdoors doesn't work. I mean, a lot of these guys have been doing these drive-in theaters and stuff like that, and I've dabbled in it, and I've done comedy outdoors, and it's never good. I don't know why Nate decided to do it outside. That must have been
Netflix money.
he probably got
Yeah.
talked into that. Netflix would have paid him to do one indoors as well.
Yeah.
I don't know whose idea it was to go outdoors. That was stupid.
I've never understood the drive-in one because, John, I mean, laughter's something else, but if you're having to get through horn blowing and to get to your next joke or
It's
punch,
horrible. Yeah.
Your timing is off.
Yeah, you can't see their
Yeah.
faces. You can't hear them laughing because they're inside of a car. It's horrible. Yeah, I prefer a nice, intimate, closed-in, where you could get COVID the easiest.
exactly. Low ceiling, right?
Yes,
Low ceiling
yes.
makes the best
Packed
comedy
in,
place.
Preferably no
people all on
airflow.
top of each other. Yeah.
But yeah, as far as where else, Kenny, you want to say where you're from? Boz?
Oh yeah. Where's
Yeah.
everybody else from?
Go, Kenny.
Well, I'm from Vancouver, Washington, a suburb of Portland, Oregon. So
Yeah.
I'm in Beer Central. This is where
I
it's
have
happening.
been up there. I've been up there as well. You have Helium comedy clubs up there. They're called Helium.
Helium and Harvey's,
Mhm.
good clubs.
Helium's great.
Yeah,
I've been
Helium's
up
a
there.
chain too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Did you? This is a fun fact. Portland is tied for first for the most strip clubs in their city.
That is fun.
Who are they tied with now? I didn't even know they were tied. I thought we had the
Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, because when COVID started, we had
Florida.
a club that
Yep.
started.
Leave it to
a
Florida.
Had to be-
thing called
had to be
Uber
Florida.
Eats. Yeah. Oh, okay. Florida makes sense. Yeah. So we have Boober Eats now, where strippers will deliver your food,
Correct.
and they have an Instagram. And it's like hashtag Meals on Heels. And,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, it was like, hey, this COVID's going to be great. You could drive through a tent, and they'd be like swinging on poles on both sides, and then they'd like hand you your food in the cars. I've never ordered any of this stuff. You know, I'm a
That's
family
great.
man. I'm a family man. But yeah, Uber Eats.
Bullshit.
So,
I sent him a gift
Uber Eats
card at the
PDX,
beginning
check
of
that out.
lockdown.
Mhm. Yeah. So,
Just
I
we're
love it.
innovating out here.
Never in my life been in a strip club. My first marriage was to a extremely devout Christian lady, so it's never happening on that watch. And then my wife now is a bit more liberal on such things, and we were actually in Cocoa Beach because we were going to the Space Center the next morning, staying in the hotel. We went for dinner. We walked back, and there's a strip club right there. And I said, "Do you know I've still never been in a strip club?" She goes, "Let's go. I'm curious as well. Let's go in." And I just went, "I can't do it."
He froze.
I had my wife's permission, and I just went, "No, it's still too weird." I just find it a really weird concept to just look. Yeah, it's
Your one chance.
Well, I will
It won't
say
happen now.
the first time I was in one, it is overwhelming, but that's when I was like 19. But the first time you actually see like a lot of naked women just standing around you doing stuff, and when they're not dancing, they're just kind of hanging out, and you're just like, oh my god, there's one, there's another one. Oh my god, she's totally naked, and it's overwhelming. So if you were with your wife and you were probably worried about having those kinds of reactions and what it would make her feel like.
no.
She would have been making fun of him.
No, yeah, exactly. Because that is the only circumstance under which I probably would have gone in, and I would have been terrified without her.
Wow, that's funny.
It's,
Oh, that's funny.
Christian
Now, where
upbringing, I don't
are you? Where are you at? Where are you?
I am in a place called Bedfordshire in England, which is somewhere. No, it's about 30 miles north of London. So.
Oh, okay. I've been to Hyde Park. I went to. I saw Phil Collins in Hyde Park.
I saw the Chili Peppers in Hyde Park.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's fun, man. Yeah.
Fun fact: never been to Hyde Park.
You should go. You should go see like music there. Apparently.
You should
Here's
start
a funny
strip club in
story.
Hyde Park.
My wife works for an aviation company, and she works for the big boss. And they were talking the other day, and he referred to London. He was talking about places to go to eat, and he says, "There's not really anywhere around here. It's just like Heathrow Airport. I can't go here, can't go there." And he said, "It's either that or Shitsville." And the reason he called London Shitsville is because Lavinia has clearly mentioned that is what I call London. 'Cause for the first 4 years of my career, I had to work in London and drive around it. So, like, if you go in on the tube and you go to Trafalgar Square and Leicester Square, it's all lovely for like the tourist experience. If you have to drive there and work for the people there, hatred.
It's like driving to Manhattan.
Can't get over it. Oh, it's really weird. Like, I get to the circling road, the M25, I get within that, and I get a knot in my chest. I kid you not. It's really odd. Really
like
odd.
405.
405 is horrible.
Yep.
It's like I was thinking of Clark Griswold when he went there and he couldn't get left. You know, like he couldn't get.
Just continuously.
He just was in a circle for like days. He couldn't
losing his
never
mind.
get over.
Big Ben! Harlem!
I have actually called a taxi driver a C-bomb on that exact piece of road. So-
Holy crap.
Yeah, it gets bad there. It
Yeah,
does.
my wife is from
That's
the
legit
north
pissed.
side of LA, and we were out there going to a Dodgers game, and I Google Maps it, and it's like we're 18 miles out or whatever, and I'm like, well, we should probably leave about an hour before, and she goes, or 3 hours, and
Right.
we got there like right as the first pitch was going. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh
you
my
go on a
God.
Friday night at 3 o'clock, you're fucked. 4:05.
That's the one thing I don't miss.
Traffic.
One of the many things I don't miss is traffic is horrible. I mean, it ruins. It's just half your life stuck in traffic
You think?
if you live in that town, and it can ruin. It just ruins everything. I hate it. So I'm happy
Miss
to be in
White.
Hickory.
Any opportunity I have, if I have to go to London, I will go on a motorcycle because we're allowed to lane split here, which I know is controversial.
Oh
but
yeah,
it's the
you
law.
can do that in LA.
Oh, you can. Oh, okay, that makes sense in LA.
Yeah, yeah.
It is-
but
it is safe
Split
enough.
in two
it's
also.
funny when you see it happen the first time and you don't know it's legal, and you see someone doing it. You're like, "Look at this asshole!" And then like,
Look at this asshole every
"Oh, look,
time.
there's another asshole." Wow, there's lots of assholes here. Like, no, they're allowed to do that. Like, oh, I didn't make sense.
You used to get people here. They're a bit like that, and they'd move the car across to like close the gap, and then you're on a monster bike. And what people don't realize is if you're a motorcyclist and you take it kind of seriously, you're basically Iron Man. I've got armor on every joint of my body. I've got carbon fiber on my knuckles, and I'm wearing a helmet. And you've just blocked my path. Do you really want to piss me off? They don't tend to do it twice. Put it that way. So have you played any comedy gigs in the UK?
No, I did visit the Comedy Store
Oh, awesome.
while I was there. A friend of mine named Matt Kirshen, who's from London, who started at the Comedy Store there. I hit him up and said, "Hey, I'd like to come pop in there and check it out." And there was a chance I could have got on stage, but I was too intimidated. Comedy's different over there, and I might dare I say better. I think they're better at. They say brevity is the soul of wit. Like they just get to the point over there. A lot of comedians over here, we just talk for a minute and then maybe get into a joke. You guys, it's like a lot of rapid fire, a lot of very good comedy there, and so I wanted to check it out and watch it. I really enjoyed it though.
Yeah, I mean, like the Comedy Store is. You're starting at the top point there as well. That's
Yeah, I went to another
intimidating as
open
hell.
mic. Yeah, it is, and they do it different too. Like you guys over there, it's almost like the MC is as important as the headliner, because the MC comes out and it's like his show, and he's kind of a name, and he'll do like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then he'll bring out a feature act, and the feature act is like the lower of the totem pole, and then they'll do maybe 20 minutes, and then they'll do an intermission, which we don't have intermissions at comedy clubs in America. And then, because if people leave, they
just
might not
piss
come
ourselves.
back. They just
You know what that is? It's if you get up to take a piss in a comedy show here, you get roasted to within an inch of your life by whoever's on stage. Nobody dare move from their seats at all, ever. So you need an intermission.
As an aside to that, there's a really famous Howie Mandel special from HBO where somebody gets up to go to the bathroom. A lady does right in the middle of the set, and he convinces an entire 3 sections to shift their seats.
Yeah.
And so she comes back to her section, and she can't find her seat.
Right.
And he stops the entire show to call this lady out, to scream at her for interrupting his set. And she's like, "But my seat's not here." And she's got her ticket and everything.
And he's like, "Ma'am, just sit down, please."
Yeah.
And she's
Oh
like,
my God, it is brilliant.
"Ma'am,
so
please
mean,
just
though.
sit down."
That's great.
Yeah. So I kind of like it the intermission over there, because people go. That's when they go pee. All right, they don't just randomly get up, and table, just randomly. So the intermission happens. MC comes back out, does another 10 minutes. Then the headliner comes out. I kind of like that better than how we do it over here. And there's no waitresses. Like there was no waitress coming over to drop a check or take an order or spill a whole tray full of drinks on a table. People were getting up when they felt like getting a beer. They'd just kind of get up and go get one from the back and then come back and sit down. There was no wait. See, waitresses can ruin a show.
Got to get those drink minimums.
Accidentally, they really can. Sometimes they don't know how to talk quietly or to try to tiptoe around, and it's a whole thing. But yeah, I've enjoyed my time up there. I was actually there on the 4th of July in England, and I was
nothing happens that day here.
No. But I was totally doing the ugly American. I had on red, white, and blue socks with stars and stripes on them. And I was at Stonehenge, and everybody, there's a picture of me at Stonehenge just dressed in like all this American stuff, just jumping in the air like this. Like, we won!
We got to get speed up in train spotting.
Right.
So, John, you had talked about British comedian and British comedy and American comedy. Do you, with the more blue-collar comedy approach that you kind of take, how does that play well over in the UK? I don't even know how, like, the Bill Ingalls and Jeff Foxworthy are taking over there.
I don't know. I didn't do it, but I would imagine if you've already got, like, a name and people who come to see you, they're already kind of like you. But I have heard that Eliza Schlesinger and what was his name? Kevin Hart did not do well in the UK because they're all personality driven, and the UK wants to know what is the substance you're doing. I want to know what it is we're talking about. Don't show me flash. You know, I don't want to. I don't need to know that you feel good about yourself. I want to know exactly what it is we're talking about.
Yeah.
They like
Bill Hicks was huge.
Bill Hicks was great because he wasn't like look at me. He was, he was
Amy Schumer did okay as well. I went to see her.
They like humbleness. I think they like humility.
Yeah, a little bit. Self-deprecation goes a long way in the UK's.
I like that.
I think you should definitely be down here, and you should be playing live at the Apollo at some point because that's the one.
You guys have an Apollo in the UK?
Hammersmith Apollo. It's a legendary comedy venue. I saw Louis C.K. there.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They were superb. But
I'm sure they love him.
The BBC do rolling series there, and it works exactly like you say. There's an MC, they do a bit, then they bring on their guests, and they're normally friends of theirs or whatever. But it's the one to do. I'll have a word for you.
Oh, cool. Get me in. Hook me up, dude.
Boss knows people.
No, I don't.
Travis is already in on their DMs. You're okay.
That's what I'm saying. Go slide their DMs, Travis. Travis, where did you see me the first time?
The first time I saw you was at Charlie Goodnight's.
In Raleigh, okay, yeah.
In Raleigh. And, Jesus, I think that was back in 2007, something like that, 2006, 2007. And it was Charlie Goodnight's for a few times, and a few other places. You never came to Greensboro, where you didn't often come to Greensboro. And I even kept sending like messages like, come to Greensboro! And but
I played Winston-Salem, which is right next to Greensboro, right?
I saw you at Winston-Salem. Now here's the crazy thing. Okay, we talked about this, but I'll go ahead and remind you or whatever. But as a big fan, and I had a buddy of mine in town that time you were at the Johnny and Jude's in Winston-Salem is what it was called. And well that was it was a nightclub, and then they had the comedy club attached to it. But I knew that you're a clean comic. You are. I mean, your language is minimal. Mimosa's watching, right? But
over here.
But I was like, man, I've seen John. I've seen you probably 10 times before that, right? So I didn't have a babysitter that night, and my son was 10 years old, and I said, hey, we're taking him to the club, right? We're going to take him to go see Jon Reep. And I figured they'd just maybe set us to the back or the side or something. What does this asshole do? He takes us right up to the front, sits us at the front table with me, my wife, a friend of mine, and my 10-year-old. And the first opening act, he comes out and he's like, he looks at my son, he's like, oh shit. And his whole act revolved around my son. And it started talking about. He started talking about abstinence. He's like, you know what abstinence is? And Aiden's like, no. And he's like, it's the opposite of you. That's what he said. And
Well-
and then he was telling a joke, and this girl was acting rude, no less. She was like 2 or 3 tables over, and he totally turned it on her, and he was like, "You mean to tell me this 10-year-old is sitting over here, not only behaving well, but getting the jokes, and you're not?" Like,
That's
oh,
funny.
God.
I wonder who the opener was, but yeah, and I will say it is weird if you go to a comedy club, a nightclub where there's adult beverages flying around, and then it's all adults, and then there's one kid. Like as a comedian, you're like, oh man, all right, okay, all right, so I can't do this joke, can't do that joke.
Start censoring. Yep.
So you're in the back, like, oh man, that's gonna be weird. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, but it doesn't really faze me too much because I am mostly clean. But I do have material that I wouldn't do in front of a 10-year-old. But I have some dirty stuff, but it is mostly clean. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with your career and doing the last comic standing and everything, and then kind of the HEMI aspect of it all, like how long did it take for you to get away from being the HEMI guy?
Oh my gosh, I don't think I have.
Really?
I mean,
Still to this day.
You
I mean,
haven't, because I
know
learned
you-
what that
know you
is
from
this
HEMI,
week.
or they know you from your adult videos, right?
Right. I try to just throw that out there as a distraction. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm in a weird way, that thing won't die. The HEMI thing won't die. I did 6 national Dodge truck commercials that ran from 2002 to about 2006 or 7. And it was before you could fast forward through commercials. And it was on every dang channel. And it's just one of those, more people saw that than anything else I've done. And the guys who are huge into cars and motorsports and that kind of stuff, and Mopar and that kind of stuff, they really love those commercials. And so if
It's
you're
the
that
Hodges
kind of
version
dude,
the "What's Up" from Budweiser, basically.
Yeah.
Like
It's the where's the beef of car commercials.
Yeah, it
Right.
really
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
and the people who are diehards about the automotive world, they don't really know much about Harold and Kumar or comedy or anything else. Guys who are into cars, that's all they're into.
They love.
Is cars, and they don't know anything else. So
Some
when I
of them
tell
marry
them,
them, I've heard.
oh yeah, oh that's a whole fetish. Yeah, people have sex with cars. Yeah, I don't know why you would do that, but it's a thing. I've heard about it.
Have you thought about combining your two passions?
Yeah, well, I have some Hot Wheels I could stuff up there. Oh, you mean the other way?
You
Yeah,
know,
I
John,
could do that. Yeah.
in 2003,
but-
I used to sell Dodge trucks in Texas. And people would come on the lot when that commercial was running, and the first thing they'd say was, "That thing got a HEMI?"
Right.
You know, I'm like, "Oh, here we go again." And then they would say, "What is a HEMI anyway?"
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was my question.
Like,
I
you
had
have
to do some
explain it to
research.
them after they'd act like, "I know all about a HEMI."
Hey! That thing got a Hemi, right? Yeah! Well, now I got a Hemi, too! But I got something you don't got! Check this out!
You explain
So-
to them it's the kind of headlights, and that way they could go and talk to people about their HEMI headlights and make them look
There
like
you go.
assholes.
Well, of course,
Oh,
I'm
and
British.
it's
I'm
funny.
British. I had to say, what's a truck? What's a Dodge?
I am curious. Do they not have Dodges there? Or
Oh yeah, occasionally. The funniest one I ever saw was actually on a British back road. Yeah, so we're famous for our little green winding lanes with dry stone walls either side, running through the countryside. I remember once in my van coming over the crest of this hill, and it was a Ford F4 truck coming down the road. Or maybe actually, it also happened once with a Humvee. Humvees, there's not many in this country, and I was like, it was the first one I'd ever seen in real life, and not in like an action movie. And I was like, "Fuck, that's big!" I was like, looking for where I could dive off.
Hey, Oz, those are made a mile down the road from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
actually,
AM General Plant is about.
You've heard of Top Gear, right? Because that went worldwide. Jeremy Clarkson did a hilarious piece where I think it was a Ford F4 truck that he had, and he lives in a place called the Cotswolds, which is like this idyllic little slice of England about an hour and a half from London, where most of the rich people live, the ones that aren't in central London. And he just drove through the villages, picked up his shopping, and he just caused traffic jams and chaos everywhere he went. So they didn't really take off, unfortunately.
So not a lot of trucks in the UK.
No, well, farming trucks, but not the big double cab.
Yeah.
They're massive.
Yeah, it's I get that question all the time. Does that thing have a HEMI? And HEMI is short for the word hemispherical, and it describes the cylinder head. So when the spark plugs ignite, apparently you go faster. Like, I really don't know a whole lot about this stuff. But Richard Petty, the king of NASCAR back in the day, had a HEMI engine in his car, and he won like all these races. And then they said he's cheating with this dang HEMI engine, so they got rid of the HEMI engine, and it was gone away for a long time. Like they weren't making them anymore in Chargers or any cars, nothing. They were just gone. And then because fuel prices went up and people said it's not fuel efficient, and the HEMI engine just went away. And then they reintroduced it with this commercial with me in a truck. And so that just flipped everybody's brain. They're like, you telling me the HEMI engine's back and it's in a truck? That's redneck heaven right there. and I was the face of it. And so that's why it did so well. It wasn't really so much me as it was people, these gearheads, these people who love that stuff, missed that engine. And they liked the fact that it was in a truck. And I just happened to sound and look like a lot of those guys that would appeal to.
How'd you
like
land
a supercharger?
Yeah. What was the question?
How did you land that role?
I auditioned for it. I was living in Los Angeles. I had a commercial agent who just sends me on auditions, and this was one that he sent me out on. I had already been on maybe 20 auditions for other commercials. Didn't hear anything. I had some callbacks, but nothing really. And then this one, I went in there and I read the line. I made them laugh because I added a little bit. The only line was, that thing got a HEMI. But in the commercial, I'm supposed to be sitting in an old beat-up Duster, and another guy pulls up in the truck with the HEMI engine, and he's towing an old Dodge Charger, which did have the HEMI engines in it. So I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at it, I go, that thing got a HEMI. So I yelled, that thing got a HEMI. But I figure if I'm at a stoplight in a muscle car, I'm not just going to sit there like this. I started vibrating. Like I figured if I'm a muscle car, I'm going to shake a little bit. So I just started shaking like I'm in the audition. No one's told me to do anything. And I'm vibrating in the chair like this. And I go, I thought I got it. And I just yelled it out. and they just started laughing. And they go, okay, that's pretty good. And then they asked me back, and I just, I think it was like 2 more auditions after that.
Crazy.
And I got the part. And we shot, the first commercial was 2 days in the desert, Palmdale, California.
That's where my wife is.
No
That's where she's from. Yeah, Lancaster and Palmdale area. So.
Oh man, it's hot down there.
Everything, yeah. Like in the Midwest, like we have this idea of California is beaches and Hollywood and mansions and oceans, and no, everything is brown and it's desert.
Everything's
desert
brown, dead, desert, and hot and nasty.
Yep.
And at the time, and I know I think every state has this town where they say, "Oh, it's the meth capital of the world," and that's what they were calling Palmdale back then. Was the meth capital. Yeah.
Yep. They got prison, porno shoots,
Portland.
and meth.
Wow.
Portland. Okay.
Portland, right? Yeah.
So how many times a week? He spoke again. It's true.
Wow.
Right. He said something, and he just wow.
Jeez, that's
what
crazy.
happened. Wow.
That is crazy. So how many times a week? I mean, I guess it's gone down in frequency, but how many times a week are you just walking along the street or something, someone shouts that at you?
I'm going to average it out. Like if I'm doing a gig, okay, probably 4 times a week.
Right.
Someone will say something about a HEMI.
Yes.
And here's the problem, right? It's because it's a question. They're saying, does that thing have a HEMI? And in my brain, I can't leave it unanswered. So I go, yeah, or what thing? Or my penis? This car? No. Like, it's whatever I'm in, I feel obligated to answer the question. If it was just...
you make their day, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, but sometimes it pisses me off because I'm like, there's so much more I've done that I'm more proud of than that commercial. I didn't write that commercial. I just showed up and yelled 4 words. Me winning Last Comic Standing was a way bigger accomplishment to me than being in a commercial, but not everyone saw that.
Right. Or even country-ish, right? Country-ish is a big thing you have going on right now.
Yeah, I'm proud of that too. But yeah, people remember that, and it's the question that gets me because I can't leave it unanswered.
Yeah.
If it was just some slogan where they wanted me to say "dynamite," like J.J. Walker, like if they yelled "dynamite" at me,
you just
I'd be like, "Yeah, do one of these."
Yeah.
I mean,
you just keep on
a
walking.
question, and I feel rude if I don't answer it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's how. That's the rub.
Yeah. Ryan really empathizes with you because he'll just be walking down the street and someone will just shout at him, "Which one's the Gmail?"
Now, which one is the Gmail? Yeah, he does this
Price of
drop.
fame.
I'm making fun of my mom, and he does this drop every episode. No, yeah, actually, it's funny you'd mentioned that the JJ Dynamite thing is like, obviously that's kind of same vein where that's what he'll forever be known for. But he managed to they did a running gag on Scrubs, and I think he had like 6 appearances on Scrubs just for when they said the word dynamite, he would appear out of nowhere. And I mean,
oh wow,
way to parlay that into obscene.
I prefer if it was Michael Jai White, personally.
Well, I've heard he's notorious for not saying dynamite. Like when he does stand up, he'll say in the beginning, don't ask me to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to do my act. I've got other things I want to do. And he comes out and he's funny, but everyone's waiting for dynamite and he doesn't give it to him. And he sells a shirt. He sells a shirt that says dynamite, but he won't say it.
Radiohead famously didn't play Creep for almost a decade.
Yeah.
That was the song that made them hit national airplay. It was a crossover hit played on pop stations, so they didn't play it. And I don't think it was till after Kid A or Amnesiac that they started playing it again. And I remember it was I think Spin literally wrote a cover article about the fact that they started playing that song again.
Wow.
And I think eventually you embrace what got you to the show.
Right. Yeah. After you've tried to fight it and it doesn't work, and you're like, fine. I'm a creep.
So you purposely can't drive a Dodge, right? No matter what you do.
Ever.
You go to a rental lot and it's nothing but Dodge trucks and you're like, I'm going to walk. Thanks.
Or just, no, seriously, if you want to do it, just get one. Get a really flash one. It's got a HEMI. And then just fucking screen print it all the way around. Yes, it's got a fucking HEMI. And then no one can ask you the question.
Right.
Just own it.
Have an intercom or it's on a loop. Yes, it's a HEMI. Yes, it's a HEMI. We'd be interested, like the car that I own. I own one car right now, and it's a Volkswagen Beetle.
Nice.
Not my mom drives it, but I own it. I actually drive a Buick Enclave, my dad's car. I drive my dad's car. It's like a
love the Enclave.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not really a car guy, so it doesn't matter.
Good.
Yeah. Just gotta get there, right?
Neither am I. Too many wheels.
Well, you're a motorcycle guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Although, saying about the big trucks, right? The first time I really encountered one in the flesh and realized just how big they are, the big 4-cab ones you have there. I was in Shreveport, Louisiana at this job, and this kid drove up, like he'd been to Wendy's or something for everybody's lunch, and like, because you can drive at 16 there? Like for us it's 17, 18, and he got out of this massive thing. I'm like, is that legal? Because like, for a start, if you wanted to insure someone that young on a vehicle that big, like parents would have to sell their house in order to do that. It's like,
it's like this child is driving this gigantic
man killer.
Yeah.
Need a chauffeur's license based on the weight.
My son had his when my son got his permit 4 days after he received his permit, we were taking a trip up to New York, and I have a I have a double cab pickup truck, and I let him drive into the city, into Manhattan. He drove in, he drove out, and he did fantastic.
Yikes.
Takes balls.
Yeah, but that's the
Yeah.
thing. Once you learn to drive something like that, jumping in, a Volkswagen Beetle, that's nothing. You're in and out, zooming around.
Yeah. The only problem with getting in and out of a Volkswagen Beetle is getting
out.
in and getting out of it. I mean, it's on the ground, and that's why I love doing DDPY. That's another goal. I want to be able to get in and out of a Volkswagen Beetle without going.
It's the noise. It's the noise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, my wife's car is it's a 23-year-old Volkswagen Polo, and I just won't get in it anymore. In The Incredibles, when Mr. Incredible gets in his car, that's what I look like driving that car. I'm kind of slumped in, and it's got bucket seats. And before I lost the weight with DDPY, I didn't fit in the bucket seats, so the ridges were digging into my thighs, and the back of the seat was digging into my shoulder blades, and I just got out of the car like
What is a Polo? Do you guys know what a Volkswagen Polo is?
It's like a Golf, but smaller and less
Is it a
powerful.
Golf? Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's a Volkswagen Golf, like a
Yeah,
little hatchback.
it's a
Well,
great
I
little
love your
cars.
bit, John, about the Subaru, but you have a bit about it's hilarious. Now, with that said, how long did it take for your? I know you mentioned it once before, but you were actually didn't your agent have to go tell Dodge, hey, if you want him to do another commercial, he's actually not driving the Dodge, right?
Like, so I did 6 commercials all the way around. After the second one, right before the third one, my agent called me and said they're thinking about doing another one. And I said, well, see if you can get a vehicle out of them. He was a good agent. Like, he kept getting the price raised every time, because Dodge never saw this as a long-term campaign. This was supposed to be a one-off. So they didn't plan for it that way. Like, maybe Flo from Progressive, she probably has a contract that lasts, a couple of years or for a certain amount of
17 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Whatever it is, I had no long-term contract. And so that was good for the agent because he kept upping the price.
Oh yeah.
And then he'd make up excuses like, well, he's busy. He's doing stand-up. He's gone. He's on the road. So unless you pay him more to get off the road. So he was really good at negotiating. So I said, well, if they want to do another one, see if you can get a vehicle out of them. And so he calls him up. He's kind of like, his name is Hugh Leon was his name, which is a great agent name.
Shout out to Hugh.
Leon. Yeah. But he's like Ari Gold from Entourage.
Oh, okay.
So he calls them up and he makes it their problem. He goes, hey, I don't know if you know this, but your spokesman for your Dodge commercials, your HEMI guy, is driving around Los Angeles right now in a Suzuki Sidekick. And they're like, what?
Perfect.
Like, yeah, that's the vehicle that he drives because you haven't provided him with a Dodge. And they're like, oh, okay. So they scramble, and then the next day, I'm in a brand new Dodge Ram 1500 quad cab, black HEMI engine truck with chrome wheels, and I had one for a couple of years. And at the time,
Jesus.
I loved it. Yeah.
How the hell did you drive that around LA?
We didn't. We just sat in traffic.
That's right. Very slowly. I remember, though, going to the Comedy Store because that's a small lot, the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, where the parking lot's tiny and the cars are this close parked together. And I'd pull in and they'd be like, seriously?
Really?
Like I was an a-hole for driving that thing. And people who would valet your cars in Los Angeles, they're usually Mexican and they're about 2 feet tall. And they'd see me pull up in that truck and be like, and there was no place to park this thing. And it was a pain in the butt. And my wife at the time, I think she wrecked it into her own garage, trying to back it into the garage. And I finally got rid of it. But for a minute, I enjoyed it.
At least you got to have one.
Yeah,
It's like driving an aircraft carrier. They're so cute.
it really is, especially in that town. And I remember I did have this one sort of egotistical like moment where I'm like, I'm gonna be that dude. Like
Gonna be a
where
trick guy.
I am gonna turn into it. Like I want to live this life now. When I want, so I like. I put on the exact same gray shirt with no sleeves that I have on in the commercial, and I roll the windows down, and I'm just driving around like blaring like Marshall Tucker music, just hoping someone would recognize me. And I loved it. For a minute, for about a year, it was really cool.
I believe that's
over.
called living the gimmick.
I was
for the wrestling
lived the
fans out
gimmick.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was into it for a minute.
That's literally what got me on this show, was the living the Macho Man gimmick.
Yeah.
So, John, I don't know if you know this, but every guest we have a hype mix that a lot of people do DDP yoga to. So we ask every guest to pick a song that they like to work out to. I don't know if you and Travis listen to music. He probably plays music as you work out. But if you were to add a song to, is it a Marshall Tucker song or
No?
what would you add?
Well, first of all, Travis and I are doing a Zoom, right? So, like, I'm lucky in that it's just me and Travis, so I don't have to worry about other people in a Zoom class. It's just me and Travis, and so I'll put my laptop on one level, and then I put like an iPad on the floor. So when I get on the floor, I can still see what he's doing. I can talk to him. But the problem with Zoom is that when I'm talking and you're talking, then so to have a third source of audio coming into it, it kind of ruins sometimes any kind of conversation you might have. But a couple of times Travis has done it with some music. Somehow you've synced it up where you were playing Pandora or something.
Yeah.
But the only problem with that is when you start talking, it's like a lag, and it
can get lost.
It's a weird lag that ruins it sometimes. But if I were in a class, in a room with people doing it, my hype song when I played football was Guns N' Roses, "Welcome to the Jungle."
Welcome to the jungle.
Nice.
Just so you know, if you ever make it to the DDP Yoga Performance Center, ever end up in the Smyrna, Georgia, Atlanta area, and you work out, you will hear that song during a workout. I guarantee it, because there's like 8 songs, and that's 2 of the 8 that are playing on loop. But every single time, you see everybody's heart rate slowly go up, even if they're not engaged. Just, fuck yes, GNR.
Just that.
Every time.
That long scream that he does, it's like, here we go. It's primal, man.
Perfect.
Yeah, but you should get over there with Dallas. Like it's an experience. It's quite a place.
Yeah, it's seriously. And if you're ever in Atlanta, man, you have to swing out there. And
I have a question for you guys, because Travis, when we're doing, I've only done DDPY with Travis. I've had no other instructor. I don't know what their teaching style is like. I only know Travis, but Travis,
he's all right.
He really wants me to get loud when I do the Hulk part. Like, he's like, yeah, what they did me. And I'm like, Travis, I can't. My mom's over here.
It's not me.
She's kind of like, it's just not. Just let me do the, So I try not to yell, but sometimes to make Travis happy, I will get a little bit of yay in there.
I hear it every now and then.
It's cathartic.
Is that something that everyone wants to happen?
It definitely is. It's a huge aspect of the program. Really, what it is, all of those things. Anytime you're asked to Hulk it up, or you're asked to count it back while you're engaged, what that does is it helps to elevate your heart rate. It just helps you get into that green, or even
it engages your core.
Every aspect about it, because and if you get them doing that early, getting in a lot of diamond cutters early on, it loosens up your whole body, and then you'll find it much easier 10-15 minutes into the workout to actually keep your heart rate elevated.
It is much harder in a one-on-one setting that you do feel self-conscious and everything else, but
it is awkward.
For the class dynamic, I can't tell you how energizing it is. And being British, I have probably the best example, because I teach a class of people, especially if it's beginners, they've never done it before. People are mortified that you expect them to open their mouth at all. And I just, every week I would take the piss out of my classes and I'd go, bring your arms out to a T and whisper like kittens. Because I knew they were just going to go, and then do it. And I had the amazing privilege, I don't bang on about it a lot, it was a lifetime experience. I got to teach on the stage at the Performance Center in front of a room full of pretty much instructors. It was terrifying. And this stupid idea came into my head. I did my first diamond cutter and I said, Hulk it up. And of course, instructors, the whole room just went like that, and I stumbled backwards on the stage. I'm like, God, I'm sorry, I'm British, I wasn't prepared for that. My wife, who's working down here at the side, she nearly had a heart attack. She thought I'd hurt myself or collapsed or something. Because it's just completely off the
how
cuff.
mortified he was, John. He fucking killed it. It was awesome. I was in that workout and it was great. Don't let him self-deprecate too much.
I did this stupid bit at the beginning. I wore like a sleeveless t-shirt and I had one underneath. And I said, look, I was hoping to be a bit more ripped before I stood before you all today. So I'm afraid to say I've cheated. And I lift up my shirt and I've got the Incredible Hulk muscles on the shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Underneath. And then for my last Hulk it up, I ripped my shirt off and I hulked it up with the Hulk shirt.
Nice.
Well, I thought if I just fuck up the workout, that's all anyone will remember, then it'll be fine.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, see, I would love to, I want to get into a class, when we can. I would really love that because the Zoom thing, again, if I'm hawking it up and you're hawking it up and like, how many times have we lost Kenny up here? Kenny tries to talk, and because we're on Zoom, like, he drops out. So I'm always afraid if I'm being too loud, it'll just cut the Zoom off, and then we're going to somehow reconnect. And so I'm trying not to ruin the Zoom, but I am hawking it up. I promise.
He doesn't want to break the internet, Travis.
Right.
Oh, yeah. And he's crushing it, man. He's absolutely crushing it for sure.
So I just have to say, we give Travis a load of shit on this podcast, and some people think perhaps we do it too much. Having trained with this guy and done workouts with him, and he's done my classes for me and stuff like that. If I want someone to cover, he's the safest pair of hands pretty much I could ask for. Yeah, maybe Tom, maybe Ryan, but no, Travis is one of the best out there. So
yeah, you had talked about everybody's like teaching styles, and Travis is like, if you want to introduce somebody into DDP yoga, Travis is your guy. If you want somebody to stick with it long term, Travis is your guy. Plain and simple. If you want somebody who has been doing DDP yoga for quite a long time and wants to get deeper into it and maybe a better understanding, Tom, who's not here right now, he'll walk you through every aspect on why certain things work. If you want to have fun with it, Boz is your guy. If you want to like have a heart attack and die for like 20 minutes of your day, that's where I'm gonna do it. So everybody, but the thing is we're all doing the same thing. We just approach it slightly differently. And you kind of bring your like Dallas says, and I'm sure you've heard Travis say many times, make it your own. It really is. There's a foundation and there's a core, and then you just kind of apply whether it's your personality or what you want to achieve from it to it. So it's
fluffy toys in my case.
Yeah, see, like Boz literally has props. He is the Carrot Top of. But, so yeah, I mean, it'd be cool, man. And yeah, like I said, if you ever get down to the PC, you'll have a hell of a time, and you'll probably have the hardest workout you've ever done because it's just like you feel obligated to kick ass while you're there.
Right.
So
because your heart rate, you know how we wear heart rate monitors, John. At the PC, everybody's wearing heart rate monitors, and then everybody's heart rate is up on a huge screen as well.
Okay, so you can see.
It shames you into kicking ass.
Yeah, Dallas walks in and his is at 68, and then he walks in, everybody else's goes up 20 beats per minute for breathing.
Yeah.
Well, I would say if you do that, the pink shirt thing, where we do diaphragm breathing, we want the stomach to expand. That shirt, I'd probably retire it.
Whoops.
You're talking about my. You know what's funny? I got all that stuff at a Goodwill, like the day before, and I returned it.
That's marvelous. Cheers.
Oh my God!
I mean, it's been used once. What's the difference if you use it again? No one's gonna know or care. I got all my money back.
I didn't even know they had a return policy.
You couldn't have auctioned it off. You did that wrong, right?
I could have.
Travis would have bought it. That dude's been stalking you for years.
I could have just sent it to Travis. I had options for people. Like I had okay, you can wear this one. You can wear. So I had a whole closet full of clothes. I'm like, you guys just pick something out. But yeah, I returned it and got my money back. That's the great thing about Goodwill.
You had Isaiah looking like the Incredibles dad out there. He was in some onesie. I don't know what the hell he was wearing.
So speaking of Dallas, John, every show we ask another question or another thing for every guest is we ask a fist fight question and we try to pose it to the guest. So, in your opinion, who do you think would win in a fist fight? Diamond Dallas Page, Bill Bellamy, Carrot Top, or Joe Rogan?
Are they all fighting each other at the same time?
Oh yeah.
So this is a four-man cage match.
Oh, it's a Texas tornado. It's you put it in a cage, you can put it in a cell, whatever. No holds barred.
Diamond Dallas Page, Bill Bellamy,
Carrot Top, Mr. Jacked himself.
Yeah.
Or Joe Rogan, BJJ fan.
Oh, Joe. Well, first of all, Diamond Dallas Page. It would come down between Diamond Dallas Page and Joe Rogan. Both of those guys have experience in fighting. Carrot Top's just steroids and a goofball. Bill Bellamy is quick. He's fast, but he's not strong, and he's getting older and has no experience. I'm gonna say it's gonna come down. I don't know, dude. I can't say Diamond Dallas Page would lose.
Ooh.
But I feel like Joe Rogan. He's a black belt in all kinds. He's mixed martial arts. He lives it. He does it all.
I think it's kind of unfair putting Joe Rogan in any of these competitions.
Yeah.
I'm fighting for Carrot Top here. It's no holds barred. You can use whatever you want. That dude's got massive props.
So he's got props. There you go.
You're giving him props for the props.
Exactly. I mean, you got it right. He lives the gimmick.
Yeah, he does he totally lives the gimmick. I wonder what his workout routine is. Like, what do you think he does? Like, it's not DDPY. He's
6 weeks on, 6 weeks off. Cycling.
Cycles. One on this side.
On this side. I know it's that, but I'm wondering, like, what else? Like,
he seems to do a lot of the vanity thing. So it's probably a lot of curls, bench press. I don't think he's working core too much. I think he's just lots of upper body.
Yeah, he's not building your explosive type useful muscle that we like to build in DDPY. Something for everything.
Yeah. What's the one my brother was doing? CrossFit.
Oh, CrossFit. Here you go.
Yeah. He's probably not doing CrossFit. He's strictly weights, right? Like that dude's doing nothing but weights. He's not doing cardio. He's just in there, whatever that steroid's giving off is what he's doing, right?
Yeah, quick
looks
pump.
good.
Yeah, but he looks great. So I don't think, that being said, with this lack of cardio and his massive heart, he's probably going to keel over in the first round.
Heart because he cares too much. That's
that's right.
You had said that you don't want Dallas to lose, but I think we've only had 2 people out of 18 shows actually pick Dallas to win.
Okay, good. Joe Rogan.
There it is.
I don't know if you're setting me up if you're going to play this in front of him later.
No, but yeah, we actually, that is a great idea for a bit though. If and when Dallas does come on, just to play all those responses back.
Yes. That would be insane. Like mean tweets.
Right.
You say you're gonna get him on.
When I posed that question to we can cut this one out, but I posed that question to Travis, and he said, "Is it fair to keep Joe Rogan in there? Is he even a comedian?" I said, "Come on, he started stand up, then he got into." So, would you consider him a comedian?
Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Yes, I would. He is a comedian. I've seen him do comedy many times.
Was he funny?
His bit about dogs made me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Was it a forced funny?
What?
I will say, to me, in my opinion, he is at his best when he's dealing with a heckler.
Yes, that is true.
I can see that.
Yeah, his
whole bro. It's the whole bro mentality.
But it's so nice when someone doesn't know what they're walking into or what they're starting and who they're starting it with at a show, and it's Joe Rogan, because that's where I go like, okay, y'all watch this, because He's so good at dealing with hecklers.
Do you have a good heckler story?
Yeah, if I could sit here and think. I mean, I don't really get heckled that often. It's happened. Obviously, it's happened.
I was at a show where you got heckled.
Oh,
and you dealt with it. You dealt with it fairly well. It was so bad, to be honest with you. The guy was an asshole, and I was about to say something. That's how bad it was, and because he just wouldn't shut the fuck up, man. And you were so nice about it. You really weren't giving him shit. And about the, I don't know, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th time, I don't know, you finally said, hey, man, you didn't cuss at him. You didn't say anything. You're like, hey, man, these people came and paid to see me, not you. Yeah. So shut up. Right.
Yeah. So what I do is sometimes he probably wasn't saying you suck. He was probably just talking loud at his table. Or just chiming in after a joke. To me, a heckler is someone who's like saying, boo, I don't like you, you suck. And that's different than someone who's just drunk at their table and is being loud and is sort of oblivious that they're causing a distraction. Those are two different things to me. But usually I can get the crowd on my side because, like Travis said, most people were trying to watch me, and that guy's the problem. So if I get the crowd on my side, then that'll shame that person into like, yeah, okay, look, everyone here is like, yes, shut up, get out of here. I will say one of the weirdest ones though, and this wasn't a heckle. This is just an odd thing, and luckily it happened towards the end. I was doing a show in Vegas, and it was a kind of, so in Vegas a lot of times people who come to the shows, they're not fans of the comedian. There are people who lost a lot of money, and the casino feels bad for him and gave him free tickets to a show.
Oh my God.
And so there's that in there. There's people who just as part of a package that they bought, and they're going to go see who the comedian is. So it's not necessarily your fans, which means it's a hodgepodge. It's a weird mixture of all kinds of people in there. So I'm doing a show in Vegas, and it's going well. And I do a bit about karaoke, how I like karaoke and how I sing weird songs and all this stuff. And in the bit, I am singing a little bit. And I see this, as I'm doing karaoke, I see this girl, and I look over, and she's like into it, like she's like wanting to sing. And but I took a closer look, and I noticed like, oh, she's like, and I'm not making fun. This is a real thing that happened. She was a special needs person. And she was there with like her mom or someone else, but I can see it, and she's being loud, and she's not heckling. She just wants to sing, and she's like trying to sing, and people are kind of looking over, and now they're seeing this special needs person wanting to sing and looking at me. How's this guy going to handle that? Because it's very delicate. Right? You can't go, oh, it's person, so you have to walk this line, but you can't ignore it either. Because if you ignore it, then you just look bad. So luckily it happened at the end. She's wanting to sing. And I guess maybe she just decided she's going to come on stage. So she gets up and she's walking towards the stage. And I'm seeing it happen. I'm like, and as she gets free from her group of her family or whatever, you can hear one of them go, Lisa, no, Lisa, no. Like it's too late. Lisa's escaped. She's headed towards the stage, and I just hand her the microphone, and she sings. She sings some song from it's a Disney song, like a princess song.
Let it go.
No, banned. Not allowed. Don't sing that.
It was something like that, dude. It was a newer Disney princess type song. It could have been that one.
What year?
It probably was.
Within the last 5 years?
Yeah, within the last 5 years.
Okay, so it was Let It Go.
Yeah, definitely.
And she was not doing a good job, but you can't make fun of her. And so I'm just standing to the side, and she's singing, and the crowd has now decided that we're going to make this girl feel really special.
Get her moment.
And I'm like, let's go. And everyone stands up and we're clapping for her.
Ah, lovely.
And I take the mic and I say, thank you, good night. And that's how I ended the show.
Fantastic.
Because you cannot follow
Nope.
No.
Don't
a
even try.
Hey, what are you supposed to do?
unstable person singing Let It Go. You can't
Right.
follow that. And luckily, like I said, it happened towards the end of my set. And my time was up anyway. So it's the best close I ever had. It's not really a heckle. It's just a weird thing I had to deal with.
Oh, but man,
Weirdly-
that's what makes comedy great. Those rolling with the punches moments, and you just
So bizarre.
you make it work.
I did do this once. I hit a girl in the head with a Zippo lighter.
Oh my God.
Ooh, ouch! Lit or
Impressive.
So this was when I was a feature actor. I only had to do 30 minutes. I was in Richmond, Virginia, and the comedy club was hot, dingy. And I was doing well. I was like 15 minutes in, I'm killing, and I was feeling really confident. And I was like, "Anybody got a cigarette?" And then like 5 cigarettes come flying onto the stage. I'm like, "Ah, cool!" And I grab one. I was like, "Who's got a lighter?" And the dude hands me a lighter, and it's a Zippo lighter. I was like, "Oh, cool, a Zippo." You know how they do any tricks with this thing? Because you know people do tricks with Zippo lighters.
You don't hold one if you don't know them.
Right,
Yeah.
man. Well, I said, I know this one. And I just start hitting the lighter on my pants leg like this, trying to open it. And it was hot and sweaty, and it flew out of my hand. And it hit a girl right in the forehead.
Oh my God.
Like her head did like that. I saw a big red square right here.
Brought down the house.
And it just
Have a
went from
Chevy
like,
emblem on it.
everybody, yeah, it said Opiz. And everyone just went from laughter to like, ooh. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? And she's kind of like, and I'm like, let me get you a drink. I was trying to I didn't know what to do. I had never dealt with anything like that in my life. And for the next 15 minutes, I just ate shit. It was really bad.
I bet so.
And I kept apologizing. Like a joke would not work. And I'd look over her. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Is there anything I can? She's like, stop talking about it. You're making it worse. Like she said that out loud. I'm like, right. I'm sorry. Shit. Okay. Let's talk about my dad. So it was really bad. Luckily, I didn't get in trouble for that, and that girl was pretty cool. But yeah, that was weird. That was bizarre.
You never thought you'd get hit in the forehead with a Zippo lighter going to a comedy club, huh?
Yeah.
Anything can happen. I heckled, you know, the Stuff You Should Know podcast?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so I took my little boy to see them live, Josh and Chuck live, and I was drunk. This is back when I was still drinking, and I just got completely shit. We were right in the front row, and one of them's drinking a bottle of wine, and I started heckling him because it wasn't a local wine, because we're really into wine in the Willamette Valley, and it's just, I would not let up. It was out of control. I had to end up writing them an amends letter. Oh, so
You were heckling them for drinking a wine that was not local?
Yes. Hey, look, I can't explain the shit that goes on in Kenny's head.
No, that's great though. I mean, that's such a specific heckle.
That's a really weird thing to be upset about.
And they're just looking at each other like, no, this is Portland. You know, it's like, hey, what are we gonna do? And they just kept moving on. I mean, they were real troopers. They just pretended I wasn't there. And you know, my kid is just, you know, like, and I loved these guys. It was just like, it's totally tearing these guys up. It was bad.
I was also you just reminded me of another one. I was doing a show, like it was a show somewhere, like a one-nighter. I was a feature act again. That's the middle guy. And the first show that we did, we're doing 2 shows at the same club in one night. And the first show we did was great. Everyone loved it. And the second show, the ticket sales were not great. And so the guy who runs it says like, hey, if you guys want to stick around for the second show, just stick around. And me and the other comedian like, why would you do that? They're going to see the exact same show. We're not, and we're trying to make it look like we're being spontaneous. You know what I mean? Like I'm giving the illusion that I'm making this crap up as I go, when really I've been rehearsing this for years. And so I came back out and I tried to do the exact same show, and people were like, does he not? He already did that.
Hold on, do they not know how comedy works?
No, they didn't.
Some people don't.
That's
People don't know
honestly
that.
one of the strangest things. That's the difference between a comedian and a musician. If you went and saw Prince live, you expect him to play Let's Go Crazy in 1999 and When Doves Cry.
And
But
get
it's
mad
like
if he
when they-
doesn't.
Right, exactly. But then you go and see people would go and see Mitch Hedberg, who is just continuous one-liners over and over and over, and then they would get upset that he wasn't doing things that weren't on the CD they had, and it's like, that's how this works, guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
You know?
here in the UK, the thing to do if you're an up-and-coming comedian, I've got a friend who did this for years, and he would practice his shows in London, small venues with friends, whatever. Then he takes that to the Edinburgh Fringe, and the Fringe is long, and you get a venue, and sometimes you're playing to 3 people, sometimes you're playing to 28, sometimes 100, depending how big your venue is, obviously. And then, like, from there, you can perhaps make it, but they drill the same material and perfect it and hone it, and, you know, then they bring it back to London.
Yeah. I think nowadays people are more savvy with how comedy works just because of social media, and comedians are just out there and showing you behind the scenes stuff all the time now. I'm talking, this is before there was MySpace, is when this happened. Not Facebook, before anything. So people still were sort of new to how this whole thing works. And if you're good at making it look spontaneous, if you're a good actor, and you're selling it like it's like, oh, here's what I just thought, and you do that again in front of the same people, they feel betrayed. They feel like you lied to them the first time, and they feel stupid because they bought it, like they believed you the first time, and then they see it happen again. They're like, who is this guy? It's con man. They feel like he's a con man. I'm like, no, I'm a good actor.
Actually, I remember being back in the day. Eddie Izzard was huge stateside and here, and
Eddie Izzard. He is odd though.
Yes, in fact, it's she now, to be correct. So I had the CD and the video of the same glorious show. And I had the CD in the van. I knew all the little jokes, all the little one-liners, and he was one of the most quoted comedians. Like, people loved to go, I'm covered in bees, all that kind of stuff. But the two were different nights. They were different performances. And the subtle differences, but when you become that quotable, and then I had friends, I'm like, no, you're quoting that wrong. They're like, no, I'm not.
Because if you tell stories like over time, if you do the same, like, here's to me the difference between a comedian who does a joke, like just jokes, and a comedian who does stories. The difference is, once you hear the joke, it's only funny one time because you know the joke. You can tell the joke. Here's the setup, here's the punchline. A story can be funny again because you don't always remember everything in the story. You remember laughing, you remember having a good time, and that's why people say, like, oh, you had to be there. Like, oh, let him tell a story. You know, like, a story is harder to do. It's longer, and a story can live longer in a comedian's act than just a joke. But it's harder. For me, it's harder to write just jokes. I'm more of a storyteller guy. So when I see someone who is a good joke writer, I'm envious of that because I wish it was a skill I had. I like to tell stories and act goofy, and that's just because that's just more natural to me. But yeah, Eddie Izzard, I think he was a combination of both of those, really. Like, he's very clever and had good stories, and just a great character.
He would say, she would say she's a monologist. Look, I know it's the transgender thing. Just for people who don't know, is Eddie Izzard has always been a transvestite, and he said he was a lesbian in a man's body and all this kind of stuff. He always talked about it really eloquently. He said because he had 2 modes, boy mode and girl mode, and he's basically just said, look, I did 50 years in boy mode. I'm going to try the next 50 in girl mode. So. Fair play. He's been saying it for years. She's been saying it for years. So it's a hard switch. It's like Caitlyn Jenner. It's like you got to make that switch in your brain. But
it actually makes a lot of sense. And, Eddie ran to Eddie talk about it.
It does. And of course, he drove that into his bit so much because he was like, for men it's easy. I'm gonna wear a shirt and a jacket and a tie. And it's
I think also he's sort of like he went baby steps with it with his audience. Like, we saw signs of it early on, like, okay, well, this is what he wants, this is what's happening. So it wasn't like one day I'm Bruce Jenner and the next day I'm Caitlyn Jenner.
Right.
Yeah.
It was with him. It was like almost overnight, and people were like, "What?" You know.
Yeah.
But with Eddie, you kind of saw it coming a little bit. But yeah, no, I think he's great, man.
How about what did he do? He ran 26 marathons in 26 days.
With no training, he just went and did it.
Right, I forgot
Insane.
about that.
Yeah.
Just
Wow.
incredible.
That's
And
my
he does
nightmare.
comedy in 4
One
languages now. 4 languages. She does comedy in 4 languages now. I will
Wow.
get used to it, I promise. Yeah.
Unreal.
Proper savage.
That's amazing.
Proper savage. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey John, one real quick thing though. I was going to ask you, and I think we forgot. Is it true that you're running for mayor of Hickory?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Ah.
very cool.
Well, so here's what happened.
What's your slogan?
You mean Hickory?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still working on the slogan. I had some ideas. It's been a minute since we've talked about this.
That thing got a mayor in it?
There you go.
Put it on a
Hey,
shirt.
Ryan will have your T-shirt made. Don't worry about it.
Right. I need a T-shirt. I need a logo,
A truck.
a truck. Yes.
Gonna open the
Well-
back
Dodge,
door.
are you listening?
I
You know what to do.
think I am, because like I was doing a podcast, and I've talked to the mayor before, and I think our mayor's fine. He's a good guy, and I was like, well, I can't tour. I can't, because when COVID hit, I'm like, I can't do anything. I can't make any money on the road, and I'm sitting here and I'm watching all this. I'm watching the news. I see politics. I see what's going on, and I know what the mayor's role is. It's not that hard. It's ceremonial. All you do is you go out and you cut ribbons and shake hands. You show up at places. You take meetings. You just a cheerleader for your town. And I've been doing that for years. In my act, I talked about Hickory my whole life, and I'm
Put it on the map.
Oh, I didn't do the head, sorry.
yeah. Why wouldn't I be the mayor? And someone said, like, I'd vote for you. I'm like, oh, would you? And then just everybody's come back like, you should do it. You could probably win. I'm like, oh, yeah. What if I win? Now I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to be mayor, because people will go from liking me to like not liking me. Because a comedian's fun, it's goofy, it's not serious. And then if I get that role, then there's people like, hey, you know, we've got a pothole in front of my house. You know, and now I'm the guy that there's going to be a lot more people bugging me, but I still think I'm going to run just for the attention.
Absolutely, you should.
Now,
Go for it.
now, if you win, are you gonna give it up then, since you're running for
Can
attention?
you,
Because
can you
John,
secede that quickly? I don't even know.
I think what I'll do is I'll give it a go. Like I'll really try to do a good job, and then once it starts bothering me, I'll call up the old mayor and go, "You want your job back? Because I'm not doing this." Yeah.
Will you have powers to make DDPY mandatory in certain places?
hey, now we're talking.
Offer
Call
Travis
him.
true sainthood in the town of Hickory.
Yes.
Every time you have a
Yeah.
press conference, you can just do a set. It'd be great. You can get all that TV coverage.
If you go
You
to
can
a
test
Middle
new
Eastern
material.
country and they play the horn and everyone does praise to Allah for the first 15 minutes, that'll be how Hickory wakes up. We're going to do DDPY yoga every morning at 9 a.m. Everybody.
Wakey stretchy.
Yeah.
Live
There
from
you
Hickory.
go.
See,
There
and
you
that's when
go.
you'll hear what a whole township doing a Hulk it up at once.
Yeah.
That energy.
I might put my own little Hickory head shake on it. For
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, there.
Okay. It has
Dude,
helped.
my
It
classes.
has helped my neck, by the way, because when we do the sort of the wind down, when you're laying down, right, and you're stretching your legs one way and you're kind of looking over this way, like my neck, and I honestly think it's from doing Hickory for 20 years, that my neck, my range of motion is limited. So now, like, honestly, that's as far as it goes that way, and that's as far as it goes that way. And
Right.
so doing some of this DDPY, I'm hoping will stretch that out, and it has.
And it has for sure.
Yeah. Progress.
Yeah, and in that position specifically, John, there's in the beginning when we dropped the knees to one side, you weren't even dropping your knees. Your knees were going like boop, and
Yeah,
then
they
you
were.
would actually bring them all the way back over,
Yeah.
and then try to do it again. And now here recently, I just mentioned you just a couple of weeks ago, you're actually coming over and you're staying over to this side. And not
What I would
having
do, my back sometimes would cramp up, and just to get to stop cramping, I would flip it to the other side just as a stretch, and then bring it back.
Yeah.
And that's just because I'm tight, like I'm wound tight.
It's part of making it your own, though.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
Gotta do it. Anyway, John, we've kept you waiting. You've been so generous with your time, and we cannot thank you enough. It's been absolutely awesome. And we've still got to have Kenny's nutrition segment. You prepared one, right? Because you're in that spot
Kenny,
there.
Yeah,
you
I
saw this week's
prepared-
episode. You're supposed to be talking about gluten today.
Gluten. That's right. That's
Oh,
exactly right. Yeah. I
Any
didn't
thoughts
do a
on
deep
gluten?
dive on gluten. I eat a lot of gluten, and I don't really seem to have a problem with it. Even though the 23andMe told me that I have a prone to celiac. So, hey,
All right, you heard it here,
what can I
folks.
say?
Celiac does not
Hey.
exist.
Yep. So,
Kenny
Tom, if you're
knows.
watching, you don't
Have
need
a slice
to
of pizza.
don't need to do gluten next week. It's fine.
Fantastic job, Kenny.
Done.
Awesome.
See how easy that was, Tom? And you have to deal with all that bullshit? Just be real. Hashtag be real.
Hashtag be real.
Well,
So, John,
awesome.
if people want to see your comedy, listen to your podcast, please tell people everywhere where they can find you, social medias, pimp everything out for us.
Since we're on a podcast, I'll start with that. Go to countryish.com. The word country with ISH. Countryish.com. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, iHeartRadio, all that stuff. But we're also on YouTube. We have fun segments that we do. I give away money. I've done some acting in my day. I gave away $902 on one episode. Accidentally, because when I say stuff, when I say it in front of a crowd, then I have to do it, right? I don't want to, but I messed up. That's why I'm still doing this DDPY. It's because I said I would keep doing it.
Man,
And I hate that about me. But I said I play a game called How Much Is That Screen Actors Guild Residual Check? So I get checks mailed to me from the Screen Actors Guild, and usually they're small because I haven't done anything in a while. And the longer away you get from a project, the smaller the checks get. So I go, well, I'll just give them away. Closest person to the amount who guesses the amount, I'll just give them the check. And I opened one, and it was for an episode of One Mississippi I did with Tig Notaro. And she had a show on
She's
Amazon.
amazing.
She's great. She had a show on Amazon Prime. I was in 2 episodes, and apparently that someone in maybe Germany or somewhere in the UK, they just bought it like outright, and so it was a bigger check than what I was expecting. And so I opened it up. I'm like, you can see the look of horror on my face.
I was watching that when I
episode it was, and I was so mad.
Shit.
I'm like, and I had to mail it to a guy, so some guy won that. So that you can win money if you watch the Country-ish podcast.
And he never opens the envelope, but it does go very close to a light beforehand now.
Right.
amazing.
Now here's a question, John. It's been a few weeks. Have you sent it off to him? Has he cashed it yet?
I sent it a while back, and so here's the loophole, right? In the game, I say, I will mail you this check. I don't tell you I'm writing you a check. I'm mailing you this check. I endorse it like old school, like pay to the order of, put that person's name, and then I sign my name and I mail it to them. Good luck cashing it. I mean, in today's age, no one does that anymore, and a lot of banks probably won't do it. I've not heard from this guy, so I don't know if he's tried to cash it and it hasn't worked, or if he hasn't tried it. I have no idea, and I've not looked to see if it's been cashed or anything.
Yeah,
I
you
just,
couldn't do
I
that
just
here.
let it go.
Yep.
No way. You have to write a new check from your bank account if you want to
No
do
way,
that.
man.
Here.
Here in Indiana, you just put that bitch through the ATM. It doesn't matter as long as it's your
Shit.
card.
They don't care. It's like
Good to go.
Switzerland.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the
North
fact that they
Carolina-
still send you physical checks is what I find weird, because here it would be a bank transfer.
I could do that. In fact, another comedian made fun of me. He's like, why don't you just do automatic transfer? I go, I like getting the check. Like,
And it ruin your bit.
like it. It would ruin the bit. but I still like going to the mailbox and seeing. We call it mailbox money. That's what residual checks are. It's like you forget all about it. You're like, oh man, this is great. Yeah,
exactly. Don't take the fun out of it. If it's just ones and zeros in the air, it's no fun, right?
Yeah.
And yelling at clouds.
So, right. So, but yeah. So we have that. We have celebrities on. We've had Bert Kreischer. We've had
Big
Larry
DDP guy?
Cable Jeff Foxworthy. Yeah, that's right. We've had John Schneider. Bo Duke also speaks highly of DDPY. So we have celebrities on. Alan Jackson's my producer. Not the country singer. It's just a guy I went to high school with.
The Alan Jackson that didn't take the girl?
The Alan Jackson.
And you have a Stamos. I can't say the name.
Marcus Stamos. John Stamos' little brother. It's a guy who. You gotta hear this one though. Like, so my buddy Mark, his real name's Mark Hunt, but one night at a bar, and he's a good-looking dude. He's always been handsome fella, but one night at a bar, and he's newly divorced. One night at a bar, some girl's like, "You kind of look like John Stamos a little bit," and then ever since then, his head's just went, whoosh, and I go like, "Oh, this is he kind of does." And so when I first came back to Hickory, a lot of people. I'm getting recognized right and left. A lot of people coming up to me, and I'm trying to hang out with my friends. And a lot of people coming up and talking and just taking pictures, and it would distract from the people I wanted to be with. And so, as a distraction from that, I made business cards that said Marcus Stamos, actor, producer, John Stamos' brother, and I put his face on these business cards. And so when that moment would happen, when people come up to me like, "Hey, John," I go, yeah. But do you know who that is? And they go, What? I go, that's John Stamos' little brother, Marcus Stamos. And they kind of look over, they're like, oh. I go, here's his card. And then they look at it, and it says the name, and they look at it, and they see him. And then before you know it, I've walked away. And now they're talking to him. And now he's stuck with them. So I really did it. I did it as a distraction, and it just stuck. So we just kept. So now his name is Marcus Stamos.
It's your Rickroll for him.
Yeah. But it's actually worked to his advantage because as a single guy, if you plant the Stamos seed in a girl's head, that's all they see.
Phrasing.
Oh yeah.
Okay, is that where you're supposed to plant? No.
Phrasing. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Amazing.
But that's where their brain goes, and they keep going like, "What if he kind of does? Oh wow, well he is handsome. I don't care." That's just all that happens.
So we got the Countryist podcast. You got Reep's Peeps coming up. When's that? Is back
November? Yeah, November 6th to 11th, the Reep's Peeps comedy cruise. We leave out of Port Canaveral. We go to a private beach in Haiti. We're going to Nassau. We're doing comedy, karaoke, and a podcast. Five nights at sea. And I don't know about the COVID shot yet, so if you sign up for it and you want a refund, you have like up until like I think a week before they set sail to get your money back. So Excellent. If you want to reserve your cabin, go to jonreep.com. Hit on the Reep's Peeps comedy cruise. Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
No problem.
Right
and if you do come back to the UK, I have to say, like me and my friends like a bit of karaoke as well. And my friend Pablo has a kind of a famous trick act that he does. And it's funny, we talked about Let It Go because he always does Let It Go. And I said it's banned except for when he does it because he does it with the purest, most incredible death metal vocals you have ever heard.
Ooh.
Kind of like you're the only one that gets away with Baby Shark.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now that I would like to see. I gotta tell you one more thing before y'all. Okay, so you're talking about karaoke. One of my songs that I have to do because I like making fun of karaoke while doing karaoke, so I don't sing songs that typically you would think that I would sing. And one of the songs I sing is one of the biggest guys to ever come out of the UK is George Michael's Father Figure.
Excellent track.
Okay, that's a good choice.
And
That's a serious one right there.
It's a serious one, and I'll make eye contact with people as I sing it. And just for that very last line at the end of the song where he says, "I'll be your daddy," he just screams, "I'll be your daddy." Like I'll say that to somebody. And then he says, till the end of time. So
That's how you
I
assert
will be.
dominance.
It's really yeah. So that's one of my go-tos is George Michael's father figure.
It's great.
Classic.
I mean, the invite's open, but I will warn you, it is pretty much heavy metal karaoke that we do, so it's mostly that. And we end with an amazing power metal song by Rhapsody of Fire called Emerald Sword, and we have actions, dragons flying, swords being drawn. It's ridiculous. Anyway.
Oh. Well, I could do Metallica's. I could do Metallica's One. I know every.
Yeah,
word
that's
that.
on there. Yep.
Yeah, I'll do One.
Yeah, we do Battery as well if you want to blow your vocals out.
I'll do Metallica's Orion. It's a instrumental.
Instrumental, yeah.
And there with a mic.
Just stand there.
Wait, does Inagata Devita count as metal?
Yeah.
Who?
Iron Butterfly? Always.
Iron Butterfly.
Oh, yeah.
The
That's
original.
the longest. It's the longest song ever. So I would do that one just to it piss everybody off. Like he's
Everybody's
still up there.
shouting at you. Yeah.
That's what I used to do when I was a bartender, and I would go. Oh my God! I used to bartend at a pool hall, and people used to play the shittiest music, but I used to go play all these hippie songs that were like 20, 25 minutes long, and people used to get so pissed off, man.
Yeah.
Throw bottles at your head, yeah.
Right.
That's how you clear out the bar right before last call.
Hey,
So,
Travis, we're gonna do yoga tomorrow, Travis.
Yes, we are.
You?
Yes, sir.
What's good for you? Let's go ahead and schedule it while we're on the podcast live.
Let's see. We normally
Fine, I am
do
not editing this out.
Let's do. What do you want to do? 12? 4.
12 or 4?
12
Let's
to
do
4?
We
12
put it
or
in.
4.
Yeah, 12
Yeah,
or
we can
4.
12 or 4.
4
Let's
hours.
do. Let's do 4.
4 o'clock. All right, it's in.
Hey, look, if you want to change it up a bit, you could come at 2 to my Facebook Live class.
There
One
you
of
go.
these days, John, you will have to jump in. Next time we do a Hit the Mat podcast workout, where
Yeah.
it's the 4 of us, you should come.
Yeah,
I think
will.
you'll
Yeah.
Definitely.
That would be
I've done
awesome.
one class that Travis was leading, and it was interesting to see other people do the workout. And I enjoyed it, and I was proud of myself that I did attempt some new moves that Travis hasn't done with me because it was a more advanced class that I popped into. So it kind of, there's that.
We would love to
competition
have you,
thing.
and I think people would love to see you. So
Yeah.
I'll do
Big
that.
time.
I'll pop in. I'll go get my
Excellent.
tube top.
Because people are already asking when the next class is going to be.
yeah, so
And I always say I represent the larger framed instructor. So-
I can't tell you. You're wearing a dark shirt. I don't know what
it's a
size of a
triple
man you are.
it is a triple XL. I did used to fill it, so but
okay.
I'm still 240 pounds. So
Okay, yeah, you got a little muscle on me then.
I'd like
Put
to
around that.
if you want to find us, you can find us in the same places you find his podcast because we're finally on Pandora as well. You can shoot us an email at hitthemappodcast@gmail.com. Be sure to check out the Reeps Peeps cruise. You can book through John, but you should probably book through Travis. That way he can have more bragging rights.
That's right, 100%.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on YouTube so you know when new content drops. And leave us a review. Leave John a review as well. It helps all of us get up because honestly, that's how we raise up in the ranks, and it's super important. And if you want to find me, you can find me at Burn the Boats Fitness on Instagram and on Facebook.
and I would also, before we go to the next bit, is to say massive thank you to Kenny for filling Tom's shoes.
Yes,
I'm sure they
yes.
stink.
Bet.
Thank you, Kenny.
Despite internet troubles, it's been great to have you, sir.
Set my beard on fire.
Yeah. Actually, you mentioned the beard on fire thing. I will recommend you a horror film if you're into that sort of thing. It's called Sator, Sator, and there is a scene in that movie where a guy's beard is set on fire.
You did it once, and now you're into it. See?
Oh yeah, now I'm
No
into
kink
it. I
shaming
want
here.
to
Honestly,
find all
it's-
about it.
It's amazing. And this guy did everything on this film. He directed, wrote, shot, filmed, directed photography, effects. The credit is his name.
Right up
I've
my
never
alley.
seen anything like it. But anyway.
Don't worry, Kenny. BTTR will be sending you a fire suit, and we have some more skits coming up, so just get
Oh,
ready.
I can't wait. It'll be like Jackass. Well, if anybody
Do you
wants
want people to find you on the socials, Kenny? If so, where is
Sure.
that?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook. I'm definitely lurking in the DDP yoga community, always around. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SobrietyCosmos. And until the end of this month, you can listen to my podcast, What's Next? Evolving in Recovery podcast on iHeartRadio. It's you can just hear my story and how I got sober. And I am closing the show, going in a different direction now. But if you do have a problem with drinking and you want to talk to somebody about it, look me up on the internet. If you have any questions, I can point you in the right direction.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Fantastic. Travis, where can they find you?
All right, the real Shamrock Fitness over at Instagram, Shamrock Fitness, a DDP yoga experience on Facebook, transitioncoach.ca with myself, Dr. Marcel Dore, Kristen Nava, 18 classes a week there. Come check us out. And one last thing, Smitty's Run. Stay tuned for a video because our good friend Scott French has donated 3 of these fantastic coins right here.
Good man.
And on the back we have, let me see if it'll turn. Whoop. First annual Smitty's Run there. And 3 of these are going to be given away. Again, Scott donated those. So what I'm going to do is put everyone's name who participated in the run, and I'm going to just draw 3 names. So it's not time related. It's not this or that. Is if you participated, your name's going to go on the pot.
On that note, I formulated a plan for the DDP Yoga Marathon that I'll be doing instead of running because I have arthritis in my toes and I can't run for shit. Plus, I fucking hate running.
Running's the worst.
So we are doing 5 hours, which Travis said, you don't need to do that much. I'm like, well, I know it's not, like, it could be about the right amount of calories, but it's 5 45-minute sessions back to back. You can come in for 1, 2, whatever, and we're going to have different people taking each hour's class, but it will be continuous, and it'll be 1 p.m. UK time till 6 p.m. UK time, and you can work out the time difference because I'm fucking lazy.
So that'll
are you doing this on a Sun? What are you doing this that Saturday?
9 a.m. Eastern is when I'm
I figured on the day of the run, but we can discuss that. It's not nailed down yet. So.
Yeah. Hell
Travis,
yeah, I'm down.
Travis, we got to do noon tomorrow. I got an email. Let's do noon.
Okay. Noon. Okay. All right, that'll work.
I booked it for 4 o'clock. Stealing
checks.
Yeah.
And you can find us at Back on Track Living if you want to do my workouts. Facebook Live tomorrow at 7 p.m. There you go. So, John, we've kept you for ages. Like I say, you've been super generous with your time. We cannot thank you enough.
My pleasure.
It's been such a blast. We've enjoyed it so much. And we do toast with water, whatever you have, soft drinks.
Cheers.
Thank you, everybody. And don't forget, hit the mat.
Cheers. Hit the mat.
Hit the mat.
Better Hit the Mat podcast.
We have someone backstage. I'm going to bring him in. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
What's happening?
Nice to see you, sir.
I guess.
Oh,
dang!
Fingers spread wide too. Look at this. Well trained.
He must have a
well trained.
Thanks for having me, guys. Good to see you, Travis.
Thanks
Good
for
to
coming
see
on.
you.
We're gonna get back at it tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And we figured you're probably just sick of the sight of his face, so we give you some other fresh ones to look at. That's
Yeah, I like his. His has a lot of hair on it. There's a lot of hairy people in here, and then not so hairy. Yeah.
Not so much. Not
What
at all.
happened? Is this not your thing?
I tried to grow a beard for the first month of lockdown, and my wife hated every aspect. She said, "No fucking way," and "No fucking," and so.
Hey man, has that got a HEMI?
Kenny.
Oh my god, we killed Kenny. Sorry. Cool. Right, John, we'll drop you backstage. We'll do a very grandiose intro, inflate your ego loads, and then bring you back in.
Sounds great. Thank you.
See you in a sec. I don't, like England's famous for these little
Every time I
windy,
speak, it just crashes the whole thing.
No, you're good,
Yeah,
Kenny.
stop it. I'm joking. that thing got a Hemi? Is that how you say it?
You're about to find out.
Yeah. You didn't shake enough.
That's awesome.
No.
That
I
was
can't do that.
so much fun, John. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Great.
man.
Oh,
Sorry
my
about the
pleasure.
internet connection, guys.
Sorry.
Oh, Giddy, don't worry about it, man.
It's gonna be a
It's
conundrum.
Like
we
it's so
won.
funny that you're in Tom's Square right now because Tom drops 2 or 3 times. It's absolutely
Wow, that's
hilarious.
just
Like
a
literally,
bad- That's a bad place to be right there.
Yeah, that's got to be it.